forever, even more. We wish you much success in all of your endeavors. Thank you, the citizens of Newark.
Oh, thank you.
Don't be surprised.
Well, first of all, let me just say thank you, ladies, and thank you. Thank you very much. This is my final televised council meeting as an elected official here in the city of Newark, and it has been an honor and a distinct pleasure to have served as a Central Ward councilwoman, but more importantly, to have been a public servant in the city of Newark. I thank you all for doing this. This is a big surprise, and very appreciated. I thank you all very much. And I'm not going anywhere officially. I'm still a Newarker, and I'm still going to be a public servant. So I thank you all for doing this. This is very gracious. And I thank the residents for allowing me the opportunity to serve. It has been my honor and my pleasure, and it is my mission in life to continue to do so. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I know.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Newark Municipal Council's public meeting. Please rise for the singing of the national anthem. It remains standing for the invocation by the Reverend Stephanie McKay for the First Timothy Baptist Church.
Let us pray. Eternal Father, we thank you once more and again, O God, for life, health, and strength. We thank you now, O God, for what you have done. We thank you now, O God, for what you are going to do. We pray, O God, in the name of Jesus, that you will forgive us of our sins, shortcoming, things that we said and done that was not pleasing in your sight. We ask now, O God, that you will create within us a clean heart, O God, and renew within us a right spirit. Lord Father, we thank you now, O God, for this, your meeting. We ask now, O God, that you will sit moderator. We ask that you will manifest yourself in this place on tonight. We are a few days shy of a new fiscal year. And we ask now, O God, that as we go forward with a new mind, O God. We say thank you now in the name of Jesus. Lord Father, let every heart in this place on tonight, let them know, oh God, that you are still in charge. And oh God, we pray in the name of Jesus that if they did not know you when they walk through these doors, that they'll know you as they leave. We say thank you, and whatever takes place, we'll take no credit for whatever it is that you do. These are all blessings we ask and we thank you give. In your darling Son Jesus' name we do pray. Let every praying heart in this room say amen. 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 Although we're in the council chambers, come on, let's give the Lord a hand clap of praise. Hallelujah.
Thank you. Thank you, Reverend McKay. Mr. President, in accordance with the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice has been provided to the Star Ledger, the Jersey Journal, and to the public at large establishing the date, time, and location of this meeting. May I have a roll call of those present, please?
Present.
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 Here. Present.
Give it.
Present.
Hearing of citizens.
Mr. Clerk, I'm sorry. Did you give out the information, the email from Councilman Ramos in his absence from this evening? He did have the email.
It's in your folders.
I didn't get a folder.
For this one.
Okay.
Got it? Okay.
And please make sure that community residents have access to the information that Councilman Ramos' staff from the county side did on behalf of residents that are the unsheltered residents and the people who are residing at 224 Sussex Avenue. There was discussion of what Councilman Ramos's office from Community Action and Welfare did on behalf of trying to help this transition take place that should be made available to any community resident who is interested in seeing in writing what actually took place. And I just want to take this opportunity. I forgot, thank you ladies for the presentation, but I want to also thank my staff, Khalil, Kyle, Mina, and Denise. And I want to thank you, Mr. Clerk, and Assistant Clerk, and all of the clerk staff for these last 4 years, and to the directors of the city and the workers, the employees. It has been a pleasure serving with you and for you. And I see the esteemed Council President, Don Bradley. It's an honor to see you here this evening, sir. Thank you so much for being here on my last official night as on a televised version of the council meeting. And to my council colleagues, thank you for the last 4 years. I look forward to continuing working with you. I'll still be speaking with you. It'll just be from a different microphone. I won't be sitting here, but I'll be standing over there. And I want to thank I certainly want to thank all of the City Hall employees for their hard work and their dedication and for their commitment. And to the retirees, I pray that we resolve the medical insurance crises that you're still going on over and going through. And I would like to thank not only the residents of the Central Ward, but the residents of the entire city of Newark for having me have the opportunity to govern and to be a public servant during this historical time. So thank you.
Mr. President, I'd like to have a moment of silence for Tim Lee from the South Ward and also Under Sheriff Kevin Ryan.
Kevin Ryan.
Thank you.
And just in addition to the moment of silence for Under Sheriff Kevin Ryan, he was an extremely close friend and longtime employee of the county, and that is why Councilman Ramos is absent this evening. So our prayers go out to all Newarkers who have experienced loss, and we pray that the city becomes safe at some point in time where we can all understand and enjoy living in the city where we don't have to worry about moments of silence and that they come few and far in between.
Thank you, council members. Welcome to the Newark Municipal Council's hearing of citizens. Only those citizens who have signed up by the closing deadline will be permitted to speak this evening. When your name is called, please step to the microphone and state your name and address for the record. You will be given 5 minutes to speak. When you begin speaking, you will see a small timing device on the podium in front of you, which will begin counting down your time. When you reach the 4-minute mark, the yellow light will illuminate, indicating that you have 1 minute remaining for summation. When you reach your 5th minute, the red light will illuminate, indicating that your time has expired, and there will be an audible sound. Please look forward and speak into the microphone. We are recording these proceedings, and if you turn away from the microphone, we may miss part of your statement. Please address questions to the chair and not to individual council members. The first speaker for this evening is Laura Mouton.
Hello, I'm Laura Minaton. I want to continue the conversation regarding the May 5th immigrant monument unveiling. I was supposed to speak last meeting, but was deterred by a clerical issue, which pushed my speaking date to this meeting. The monument itself was a nice gesture in the face of the current anti-immigrant climate. However, as a gesture, it isn't really doing anything to protect those most prosecuted by the current leading rhetoric. We have reached a point where it is becoming clearer that all sides of the political spectrum are xenophobic. The recent pictures of children in cages was not during the Republican administration, but was actually from the time of the Obama administration. I'm here to hold your lack of action regarding the Essex County ICE detention facility accountable. At the last town hall meeting, Jay Arena mentioned and called for equal protection of all immigrants, whether they be from Portugal, Puerto Rico, or Alabama. This call for protection was intended to break down conversations about legal status. Legal status should not determine whether someone be locked up, at this point seemingly indefinitely, in conditions that, as Carl pointed out, violate basic human rights, especially the right to have an adequate standard of living. Immigration is an action and not a technicality. Immigrants and physical mobility represent just a movement from location to location and should not be a crime. This is what Jay hoped to make clear in his statement about equal protection for all. Immigration is currently a crime for certain immigrants, and the City Council, in allowing the ICE detention facility to remain within Newark borders, are complicit in human rights crimes and are violating Newark's sanctuary status that the Honorable Ras Baraka put in place. Luis Quintana, himself a member of the Latino ethnicity, retorted with a clarification that Puerto Ricans will never suffer the consequences of this immigration sweep and rather are born with the status of a U.S. citizen. I will first touch upon the implications of his clarification. Quintana, not wanting to be associated with people who are deemed as subhuman through legislation, elevated his nationality away from the overall Latino immigrant narrative to one that is acceptable in America. Clearly, he doesn't have to represent the other Latinos suffering all at the hands of such an immigration system, as he is by birth an Americano. Quintana chose to respond using clear, dehumanizing language, and yet is thought to represent by proportion interests different from his white European colleagues. I am going to break down the reality of the City Council. Quintana and several other immigrant council members want nothing but power for the exceptional and utilize the language of immigration to allow for a great amount of people whom they should theoretically feel connected to via identity to suffer the reality of a subhuman existence. Rather than taking action against a human rights violation and something which the Democrats seem to play into, you have chosen to appeal only to feeling and gesture and nice words that commemorate the nice immigrants and allow the subhuman ones to fester in a jail. The ICE detention facility is a jail, and one that allows you all to build your budget. I urge you to stop accepting blood money. I demand that the ICE detention facility in Newark be closed down. I demand the exact thing that Quintana, in his born American privilege, has and represents. No longer will immigrants be differentiated or persecuted based upon existing, but rather will live with the tranquility that their very existence should guarantee. They will all be protected under the law, they will have recognition before the law, they will have the right to an adequate standard of living, and will reap the benefits of a social order. To summarize, Newark will no longer allow the abuse of certain immigrants based upon a technicality. I urge all council members to consider the responsibility in human rights violations that they would be alarmed to see if it was taking place anywhere else but their own backyard. It is time to protect existence and not vilify it. Rise up against a system that creates animals and trash out of people and make Newark a truly fair and welcoming city, not just for developers, but for the people who reside in its borders. Stop being, in the words of your own Ras Baraka, the fugitive slave catchers, and stop making false claims. History will continue to judge you. In a world of missing children, normalize busing to detention centers, and an expansion of detainment, be the voice of fairness and humane interest, and stand against the normalization of oppression. Don't be the next Obama or the next Nazis, turning their head away from human rights violations and then getting exposed later as the bad guys of history. It's your choice at this point, but the city council should really take action and close down the camp and jail that is the ICE detention facility. And it is at this moment that I will declare a moment of silence for the next 30 seconds, a moment of silence for all the people that are detained based upon your acts of being complicit.
President, are you done? President.
I am not done.
You're not done?
I am not done.
Okay.
Councilman Quintana.
Thank you.
First of all, for the clarity of the speaker. First of all, what I stated before, Puerto Ricans are U.S. citizens since 1918. If you don't want to, I'll give you the law that made us U.S.
That's
citizens.
not what I was
Let me explain
talking about.
something to you, and let me.
Please.
I
Councilman Quintana is
listen to you.
speaking.
Listen to me now, because I've listened to you. I think we need that respect to each other. I respect you. You respect me. First of all, you're talking about President Obama, which is not correct of what you're saying about I think you have the wrong president. I think you need to clear it. President Obama kept families together. They did not deport anyone, as you alluded to. Let me explain something to you about my record. Let me explain to you about my record.
You're looking at. I don't know what statistics you're looking at.
No.
They are not the statistics of the reality of
Can
this.
you please?
Listen to you. I listened to you. I gave you that respect, and I want you to understand.
I don't want to hear you.
Let me tell you.
Can you please?
My actions.
Councilman Quintana.
My actions are very clear. Let me explain something to you. At the National League of Cities, I have been a champion for American cities. So let me explain something.
Councilman Quintana.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
No. I'm not going to move on. No, I want to clear something here. I want to clear this right now. Let me explain something to you. Mr. Clerk.
Excuse me.
I want you to take.
Councilman Quintana is speaking, and then when he finishes, I'd like to say something as
Let
well.
me explain something to the speaker. I have been around the country at the National League of Cities as president of HELO, the Hispanic elected officials. We did more about immigration reform as a local elected officials. For this person to come here and try to make me, I'm an anti-immigrant person, I'm not. I believe in the diversity of an America, and all of us have a title and opinion. But listen to me. When you alluded about Puerto Ricans, I have to stand up and say to you, I'm not an immigrant. I've come to this country, I came to this country as a young man, and I understood, but I was born as U.S. citizen, and I want to explain that to you. Number two, at the National League of Cities, I will give you my record when I was president of HELO, and the profiling that was done in Los Angeles and elsewhere, where I stood. I'll give you my record, because I don't want people smearing what I've been and where I've been. And I have represented the National League of Cities on behalf of America's cities and about immigrants and every issue, whether it be CDBG and every other issue. But for you to come here and try to posture and say something different about my character, I'm not going to accept that. You have to understand, my character is more important to me than what you say.
Excuse me, Mr. President, may I say something, please?
Everyone.
First of all, there's several issues on the table. Number one, the issue in regards to the detention of immigrants that is happening now. It did happen under President Obama and under George Bush, and others, but there was not a separation of families. Mothers and children were not separated, as that is something that is specifically being done while Donald Trump is sitting as the president. The issue in regards to the ICE Center, the Essex County ICE Center, is the issue that you're trying to get the council to deal with. The council can put a resolution up saying they oppose it. The council can put a resolution up saying that they don't think that it should happen. But you ask the council to close it. The council does not have the authority to close it. You will have to do that with the freeholder board as well as with the county exec. The council can put a resolution saying that they don't agree with it. So that's the kind of stuff that you should be asking the council to do. Mr. Arenas, I saw you when you were in Morristown at the Women's March. I signed your paper, okay? You were, when we had the women's rally, all right, there were people from talking about the ICE detention center. They had forms being signed, and several people who were from Newark signed it, saying that they did not agree with it because Newark is supposed to be a sanctuary city. But I find it interesting, young lady, that you chastise the council for not sending something to the county exec, but you continue to leave the mayor's name out. And no, you said that the council has the power to do it, okay? And in fact, the council does not. It's another form of government. It's a separate form of government.
No.
No, I just wanted to make that clear.
Next speaker, please.
The next speaker for this evening is Cynthia DeSouza.
Good evening. I wanted to bring forth some items that I've been bringing to the council since I had no gray hair and was wearing my cute shoes. Some of you have left and come back.
John.
I hope this is done when you come back again.
John.
The first, I'm representing two organizations in my home.
She's putting in her mouth.
Technology, my home, People's Mission Baptist Church, and Rebuilding Together Essex County. I sent a copy of some of the documents that had been submitted over the last probably about 20 years. I started some of these things in 1989 when Nathan Allen was the director, and I've gone through all the folks since then. The first item is blueprints that were missing for my home that I paid about $4,000 for, and I never got the copy back, and I've been trying to get it. The city had asked me to submit them to the person that was here at that time, and he retired, and I never got my copies back. And so if anybody can find that copy, I would like to get that. The next issue is IHS Development, which is a nonprofit. I'm located on Springfield Avenue, and I've been doing community work through IHS in my church for the last 40 years. And we had got a CDBG grant when Dana Roan was the council person. I have the award letter, the original. You have a copy of it. We never got the grant. And I've been meeting with different people, and they're saying, what happened to the money? And I'm like, you tell me, we never got it. I don't know where it went, but we didn't get it. So a copy of that letter is there. The next thing is from my home. There's a lot, two things go hand in hand. There was a 25 by 24 and a half foot parcel of land that had been subdivided from the original lot size 25 by 100. When Donald Tucker was here, he made a motion at the meeting and Councilman Bradley at that time was the president, and they made a motion to lease the lot for me for $1 and a couple of other lots. And instead, they charged me $53.65 a month. And they owe me in back pay when Myers was here. They were supposed to do the refund, and it's over $3,000. Carol Harris has since passed away, and I've been trying to get that handled. Right now, I'm retired, so I really could use that refund. That document is in there as well. And they never gave back the property. They were supposed to reverse that because the original documents when they made that subdivision was for a property, for a project that never took place. And it also said that that shouldn't be done if the property had residential units, which it does. So the lot is undersized, and they were gonna just rescind that motion and give the property back to the original lot. The other thing is church lots. People's Missionary Baptist Church, there are several lots, they're listed there, which we have been trying to get for the last 25 years. And they were supposed to be sold to us in a private sale and said they were put into an auction. Some company got them, they never did anything with them, they reverted back to the city. Mike Myers was supposed to do a sale to the church or give it to the church because we have a soup kitchen and we want to expand because we feed about 150 people every week, and we want to expand our facility so people don't have to wait out in the cold to get a meal. And the other item is a development that's going on Springfield Avenue. I've been trying to request to be a part of that I submitted plans to the city, and I have them time-stamped blueprint plans to build a building next to my current property, which is 448 Springfield Avenue across from the Wendy's. And I've been adopting those lots for 20 years, trying to get somebody to let me do the development. I paid $4,000 for blueprints and submitted them to the city in their time-stamped 2009 to build a building there with a community center on the bottom floor and some accessible apartments on the top. And I've got no response from that. People are developing all over the city, and I think people like me that stayed when I had money to move away to give back to the city should also be included in the development that's going on in the city. I still have my copy of the plans that were submitted to the city, and I don't know where the copy is that they have, but I have my time-stamped copy. And that they were submitted in 2009. So Rebuilding Together Essex County, which has done work on over, and some of you have attended our events and taken photo ops. We do free home repairs for Newark homeowners, and we have done at least 125 projects, including work at the JFK and other nonprofit organizations. We had an REO project from property from Wells Fargo, 13 Hecker Street. Just with mix-up of the city and records not being right, they took the property back in the tax sale when we were tax exempt and had applied for tax exemption and was working with Councilman Osborne's office to put together a big rebuild project to do this REO property, and we had a homeowner to buy the property. The city took the property back, and I've been trying to get a redemption from the development office. They told me I had to go there to get a redemption so the property could be put back in our name. And so you have all of that information in that packet, and I would like for it to be addressed. Thank you.
Thank you.
The package she's referring to. Yeah, we don't have it.
I passed it.
She just gave her one copy.
Oh, they were making copies. I just had one copy.
Oh. Okay.
But all those items are there, and I would just like for somebody to respond because I called.
Yeah, I text.
I just want to get these resolved. It's been like over 20 years for a lot of these issues.
Thank you.
Well, one of the things is you're talking about some documents that were done in 2009. And you said that the city has not reimbursed you or cannot find your blueprints.
Okay, the blueprints is one item, yeah, and that's the most minor item on the list.
That's the most minor item. So can we make sure that we send a letter to the Department of Engineering to find out, or Department of the...
I put a copy in that packet of a report that I had put in for a request for documents. I've been down there, and I have a copy of the report where I had requested, for them. They said they might be archived.
Well, if they're archived, we got a $10 million building that's an archive, so maybe it's in that building. But I'm kind of curious, Mr. Souza. In the last 4 years, you said you were working with Councilman Osborne's office, but you never contacted my office in regards.
I only called your office recently.
I'm saying recently. I mean, I'm on my way out the door, but I'm just saying.
I've been working on these issues, and I was out for a while because I fell and had some issues, so I wasn't out and about like I had been. So I had to make some adjustments to my living condition.
Well, hopefully the clerk's office, when they look at the package, they can put it together and give you a written response and start trying to track down some of that information for you.
Okay, and the biggest thing is the lot subdivision that was supposed to take place.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Colleen M. Fields.
The speaker's not on.
Okay, you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum, praise the Lord, and pass the ammunition. My name is Colleen Fields. I reside within the gated community from Hell Damnation that is ran by Rita Robertson of Housing. I come here today because I refuse, and I'm kind of switching this script, because I refuse to let my civil rights and civil liberties be abused. For years I've been hauled off in the court. As I speak, I'm in court. Rita Robinson and her colleagues at 500 Broad Street are blatant liars. They forge documents. They just do anything they're big enough to do. And they are the left behind residue of no good Keith Kanoy that treated the residents like they were dogs. I'm being hauled off to court. They tried to do something to me, and I was told that I had to move, and I looked them in their face, and I said, I'm not going anywhere. And I came home, and our first phone call was to the Lieutenant Governor, Sheila Office's aide, and they reached out, and no one has told me that I have to move. Those documents up there are papers that Rita Robinson changed, and even went up on my rent $200. And when I went to her office, she couldn't explain to me why. And it's in there. She wrote me a letter. It was November the 21st in 2016, informing me that my neighbors in the adjoining apartment had bed bugs. Well, I've had bed bugs for 7 times. I had to throw out my mid-condition Hathaway couch, my queen-size mattress, and bed and box springs. And they're all over the building. And the man that came from Corbett told me that what they're using is not effective. I've caught 49 mice in my house. I've even had black ants that bite. I got water bugs. Thank God I don't have roaches. And I was waiting for the 2 foxes and the possum and the raccoon to move in too, because I was living in an animal kingdom. So Rita Robinson said she wanted me evicted because I cuss her out. I do cuss her out, because if you disrespect me, I'm going to disrespect you back. And I don't care who you are, and you can ask Ambrose that. Because I am somebody, whether you think I am or not. And listen here. I pay my rent. I sit in the lobby with a sign, Newark housing eviction. I pay my rent. I don't sell drugs. I don't use drugs. I don't trick. And I don't sublease out my apartment to the drug dealers or the people that she evict and let them move in next door. She's a very corrupt person. They don't like me. And guess what? I don't like them either. But honey, I'm going to fight you back. I'm going to fight you back, because when Keith Kanoy left, they should have left too. So we got the same old thing down there at housing, and they need to stop perpetrating a fraud. I won the election. Emmanuel Foster, that's why he didn't meet with me. He wrote up a board, don't even exist. They kicked me out the board. But the board down there is full of crackheads, heroin addicts, alcoholics, thieves, you know, but they can serve, but I can't. And yes, I cuss them out. And I wasn't even cussing when I came to the city of Newark. I wasn't even drinking. I was a devout Christian. Woo! Sometimes I understand why Miss Baraka drink. Because when you mess with these Negroes, child, I'm telling you, and I'm not a Sambo, but I'm telling you, if you about anything, you need to wipe out housing down there. The debris from, the residue from Keith Kenoid, and Victor is a liar too. He tried to tell me that he was gonna get them to unblock my phone numbers. That ain't never happened. So, you know, somebody told me sitting in this room, it's probably gonna be worse. I believe it. I believe it. And everybody pray for me. But I had made up my mind. If they come to get me, they was gonna have to drag me out of there.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Bessie Walker.
Not here.
It's not here.
Evelyn Coleman.
Evelyn Coleman. Not appearing.
Jay Arena.
There's some level of democracy. Okay, we're going to hit them all. Good evening. My name is Jay Arena. I live at 35 Maiden Lane here in Newark. This last week, I emailed to all the council people and hand-delivered to Councilman Amador, whose district is where the Essex County ICE concentration camp is located. I gave all of you a letter demanding that there be a hearing held in this chambers about the serious human rights violations that is Joe D's and Trump's concentration camp. I also hand-delivered to the office of Councilman Amador and emailed, after I got the emails and from the individual council people, on the web page you have this portal which does not allow documents to be sent. So I would recommend that you put your emails as well on the web page. But I included a report by a human rights organization entitled Allaying Justice. And it's about the 3 area ICE concentration camps, right? This is part of a national gulag system. Many are located right here. One in our backyard in the Ironbound, another in Kearney, Hudson County, and then the private-run facility in Elizabeth, and about the horrible conditions of these 3 facilities. And I've asked for a hearing to be held. And I did reiterate that the council, we have never said the council has the power to close it, okay? We have repeated here, Councilperson Jenkins, in your last meeting, you still have the chance to do this, to pass a resolution, to use your moral authority and political power with your ally Joe D, and their employer, to demand that he had to close this facility, and he has that power. We have the contract. We did an Oprah request. He can give his boy Trump 30 days notice that he can close the camp, and that would be much more likely if we had the Newark City Council, where this abomination is located, to raise your voice and to have some backbone. So I haven't heard from you since I sent this. Does anybody want to respond? Yeah, and I actually had a nice chat with Councilman Osborne as he was walking downtown. So we're still waiting. Although you don't seem to be concerned about Joe D's camp here in this city, millions of people around the country are outraged over the criminal ripping apart of families and putting into the ICE concentration system. Now, it was touching to see Congressman Albio Cires and a number of other New York and New Jersey congressmen on Sunday show up at the privately run ICE concentration camp to feign concern. And I found especially touching with Congressman Cires, whose good friend, the grand terrorist, Luis Posada Carriles, liked to break up families, like blowing up Cuban airlines and anything linked to the Cuban government. I guess he's had maybe a change of heart. I doubt it. But if they, no, I doubt it too. But if they were really concerned about breaking up families, they would have also visited their good buddy Joseph DiVincenzo. They would have visited their good buddy Thomas DeGees, that runs Hudson County, who both, as I've mentioned while I'm adding about Hudson County, both run these ICE concentration camps. But that wouldn't look really well. That wouldn't have been very polite. So it was a farce. They're a farce, and I'd have to say, this council is complicit by their silence. And Newark does have an international stage. We just had the Prime Minister of Portugal here, right? They were celebrating, I guess it was a tie, it was Spain, and we had Armando Fontoura dancing, celebrating. Well, we would like to be dancing when they close this facility. I think people in Portugal would like to also hear that. But let me end with this. Joe D says he needs this blood money to run his parks. You know, he's Mr. Green. We tell him, close this concentration camp. You don't raise money by trafficking in human beings. You make the rich pay. And when Christie was in power, the phony Democrats and the Democrats that Joe D controls in Trenton regularly passed millionaires' taxes. Now that they have both houses and the government, they refuse to pass it.
Thank you, sir.
Also tell everybody, Joe D,
thank you.
Make the rich pay and close this.
Thank you, sir. Next speaker, please.
Oprah R. Wright. Opal R. Wright.
Hello. Good evening, council people. My name is Opal R. Wright. I reside on Vanderbilt Street in Newark. My concern, I am consulting this evening on the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act of 2009 to the provisions to qualified citizens concerning the distribution. I am reading the provisions of this act, and when I'm not reading the provisions of this act, I'm usually trying to find applications for the funds in which I feel that, which I notice or recognize as monies that are available, but the applications are not there online. What I see when I'm online, I notice the established, or should I say those who are qualified and they have received their funds. So I'm looking at the funds that have been dispersed, the applications for those that were interested in, say, Prevention Well or National Institute of Health, the broadband. Those are the applications that I see. So as a U.S. citizen, I'm interested in finding the application that would show that it is available for all of the funds that are there in this law. So that application would have to be more general so that it allows the citizen to look at what funds are available, how much is available, apply for the specific or the word is assurance, by looking at the title of that program or service and being able to at least address the application with the council or the mayor, the council. And this way, if we had that much to explain or to discuss about the funds, or at least receiving the monies having it dispersed, we at least have the mayor or the council people to contact the heads of the agencies, the departments and agencies, contact the ones that are there that heads the agency or department, and I believe they have to speak with someone, one of the somewhere it's congressional housing, somewhere they have to have 15 days of a discussion on how much money should be dispersed to the qualified citizen. So you would need to at least calculate, because it says that you need 1% of all the funds that are the sums that are available. And if that is from Division A and Division B, you would have, at least you would have the amounts that should be dispersed with an application somewhere stating that we would have an application with a local official, maybe a council person, or contact the council person, so that you would be able to complete the application. You would then forward it, I guess, you would forward it to the department, have the department wait 15 days, and they would disperse that funds to the city or to the local area. So what I'm doing is I'm just my concern is seeing a general application. General meaning that it would be applicable and filed by a U.S. citizen who qualifies or who's interested in an application. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Tyree Dormus.
Tyree Dumas.
Good evening. My name is Tyree Dumas, and on March the 15th of this year, my family and I were displaced due to a fire that took place at our residence of 200 Avon Avenue. And upon the reports from the fire department, they said it was gross negligence on my behalf, because they said it was the cause of the space heater that was plugged up, which was false accusations. And right now, I'm hurting right now as I, present this to you, because my family, we're living out of our car. We've been living out our car for the last 4 months. We've been separated, and it hurts because I reached out to the leaders in the South Ward that said they had my back, and no one helped me. That hurted. That hurted me. And I'm here, on tonight because my family, we come from a great family. I've never been in trouble. I've always tried to do the right thing. But guess what? When I needed my leaders to help me, they turned their back on me. They told me, okay, I'm going to see what I can do for you. No one never gave me a call back. Right now, I'm in a freaking shelter in Union County. that I love. The city that said they have my back. The city that my kids are excelling in school at. And this is what I get. We had a court appearance on May the 3rd. We had a court appearance, to speak on my behalf. Legal services on Commerce Street, it's like not even having representation at all when it comes to getting help. Newark Housing Authority, reaching out to them, trying to get help to make sure things are fixed in the house. They have no integrity to help the residents. And it hurts, because I reach out, so many calls that's reaching out to Mildred Crump, to the leaders in the South Ward, but guess what? No help. No help. Do you know how it feels to live out of a car for the last 3 months? Almost losing my job, and then go to court on May the 3rd to be told that, you know what? It has to be dismissed because we have to subpoena the fire department. And then guess what? We already know that Housing Authority, their lawyer is going to represent them. I have no representation. I have no money for a lawyer. They give me another date, say, okay, Mr. Dumas, we're going to give you a date for May the 21st to come back. To find out, they gave me a date for May the 17th, knowing that I do not check my mailbox periodically to make sure. But I'm speaking on my behalf of my family on today. My family, they're crying, worried, like, why would the city do this to us? Why would the city do this to us? Missing days of work, almost losing my job, trying to make sure I find a place for them. On an income of $27,000 annually. Reaching out, serving my country, then to come back to the city of Newark and can't get a job here? Really? It's a disgrace. It hurts. It really hurts. And the thing is, the people that represent us here, I'm gonna lay it on the line. The people that represent us here, they sit. They sit. And not realizing people, I'm probably not the only person that went through this with Housing Authority. But it hurts. I don't think you understand what I go through trying to find a place for my family. I don't think you understand crying in the midnight hour, worried about my family. It's an insult. Because I love this city. My family, they love this city. My kids are excellent students. I don't know, after this, after I leave this shelter in a couple of days, I don't know where it's going to be my next time, where I'm going. I don't know.
Thank you. Councilman James.
President.
Mr. Dumas.
Councilman James, please.
That's what I'm telling him to go back because Mr. Dumas James is going to speak to you.
First and foremost, we met and communicated long before the fire. For almost 2 years, we talked on a regular basis about employment with the city. I did not promise anything, but trust me, I asked on numerous occasions.
I understand that.
Understood that. I had nothing to do with the fire, and that was a very unfortunate incident. You reached out to me after the fire. I immediately contacted the housing director, Victor Cirillo. I had emails, text messages, and I got responses. And I called you back and told you their determination was that it was negligence on your part that caused the fire damage. Did I not call you back?
And guess what? Yes.
So I did not tell.
Right, Sharp James? That's what you believe, right? Because John James, John James. And you believe that because that's your job, right? But the thing is, the managers, the site managers,
I reached out to them. No integrity at all on their part. No integrity. And I understand, okay, you reach, about the job. I understand that's not in your hands to put me in a position. I understand that. But I'm reaching out on tonight, man, because my family, we're hurting, man. My family, we're struggling. This is right now, Councilman.
I understand that, but your earlier representation was that we just turned our backs, nobody responded. I constantly kept in touch with you. They came with a determination that the property was destroyed, housing authority property, and they did not want to find you new housing. That was their determination.
Councilman,
go ahead.
The last time you talked to me, you told me you're going to see what you can do to help.
Yes.
And that was the last time I talked to you.
Yes.
Correct?
And I talked to Victor Cirillo, and I called you back and told you their determination.
Okay, that doesn't help me at all.
Oh.
And I never, after that call that you said you see what you're going to do, I never got a call again.
Okay.
Never got a call from you.
Okay. Well, I'll talk to you right after the meeting.
But we also have the health department here, so maybe they can help him with some relocation money and direct him to since you are working, the Essex County Division of Community Action has dollars, and they can direct you also. But maybe with the City of Newark's health department, you can get some relocation money to be able to move. But Councilman Osborne, you need to speak to Victor Cirillo, because if Victor Cirillo can find an apartment for the new security director and his son and move him up here and remodel those 2 units for those people who came from Alabama, didn't have a Newark address, they should be able to help this young man. And he is a Newark.
Well, I already have your information. We're going to talk right after this meeting. We'll talk right after this meeting, all right?
I'm trying to get all accepted.
Not a problem.
Really insinuating circumstance, man.
No, you don't have to apologize. You don't have to apologize at all.
Okay.
We'll talk right after this meeting.
Thank you. Next speaker.
But he
Lisa
did
Parker?
say the person who didn't respond was Mildred, not you.
Oh, well, he said Southwood leadership.
Yeah, but then he specified Mildred.
But then, Victor was.
Lisa Parker, resident in Newark. These folks right here are from JFK Recreation Center. You terminated their instructor, Michael Garrett. 1 second. This man, 6 days a week, even through the summer months, promotes wellness, healthy, water aerobics to the seniors, the people that have knee surgery, hip surgery, and just want a healthy kind of living. This is going on for years, that these people come every day to receive instructions from Mike Garrett's classes. If the city is promoting wellness, and if the city is promoting for seniors to have an outlet, a place to have activities, and also a healthy living style, why are you terminating the main person that brings hundreds of people to his class? I don't know how many of you have ever come up to JFK in the morning when they have water aerobics, but I want you to know there's 60 to 75 people there every day. So whatever you need to do to reinstate him for whatever crimes you think he committed, you need to bring him back to JFK, Michael Garrett. Thank you all for coming, and we're not going to stop coming. The next thing I want to talk about is the lies that was told by the mayor about our water. These are the facts. Every day when you get up, hold this up for me, please. When you get this pamphlet in the mail, that says to you the outrageously false statements. The false statements came from the mayor. Because one, your drinking water is not safe. Lead in the water is a metal. You can't boil it away. And the way that he crafted the letter is because he didn't test all of the waters. And let me provide you with a map of the city. Because here's all the testing that was conducted. And as we see, Joe, in the West Ward, you got a lot of red dots. That he tried to say it was only specific to certain areas. But I need to ask you, Amador and James, there was no testing or hardly any in the South Ward or the East Ward, and you got businesses there every day boiling water, serving rice, pasta, and lobster. Are these businesses have filtration systems there to prevent toxicity and the lead levels to increase? No. I need the city and the council members to be more transparent and stop lying. The other thing that was brought to our attention at the town hall meeting by the same group that sued Flint, Michigan, was 2 non-compliance letters addressed to the city, all the organizations like the Urban League. If we have a community crisis, a water safety crisis, this should be a priority for all of you. Our drinking water is not safe. Don't trust the city. Do not boil your water. Use bottled water for anything that you're cooking in. Lastly, I want to talk about the Team Baraka Circus that came in my community at the last runoff election. With your bravado, with your disrespect. My neighbors in my neighborhood, they know that we did not have a fair election. We know that the voting machines, the programming of it, and tampering with it did not give the citizens a fair election. Let's talk about the corrupt election board and Joe D. Machinery choosing our elected officials instead of giving us the democracy that we're entitled to. When I move forward, I want to say this to all of my Newarkers that sit home and watch us on the program. Y'all need to step out here like these people from JFK to represent yourselves and make these people up here accountable and do their job. Because one of the things that I'm going to promise you, for the next 4 years, you won't be sitting there idly and not responsive to the people, and your silence and your non-responsiveness to the people in this city will not be tolerated. Stay woke, Newarkers.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Ramon Luis Rodriguez.
Mr. President, before the next speaker comes forward, I asked the question yesterday of the Director of Recreation, and I asked Mr. Green, and they said that the money we're voting on is for the aquatic equipment that's going to be utilized at JFK, and I see the email here that says that the program is fine and that they're proceeding with going forward with the aquatic center, with the aquatic. And so the issue becomes, there was a hearing and there were allegations made that Mr. Mike, whatever his last name, and I don't even know his last name, did something that was illegal. And what I want to say, what I want to say is that one of the things that makes this program so unique is that we talk about preventive health issues. We talk about being able to have our seniors mobile and being able to utilize the pool. And this gentleman, I don't know what his sin was or whatever his infraction was, but I do know, and I will not say it from here tonight, But when I come back in July, I can say it from there. Several city employees who have done things that they should have been terminated for that were either malfeasance, criminal, or things that would have gotten them fired if they were in the public sector. So I think the gentleman should have been punished, given a suspension, because when there was somebody that was not there to teach these people how to stay able to move around and not be stiff, and several people have gotten off their walkers and off canes, they should be able to have that gentleman come back, because it's necessary. Because let me tell you something, if there's somebody who was caught selling apartments in Newark Housing Authority and he just got transferred, he ain't get fired, okay? Yeah. I think that's more egregious than whatever this gentleman did. So I think you all should have a conversation and look at what this gentleman brought to the city and look at the other people who have records and who have done things continuously and stay employed.
Rodriguez.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Okay. Good evening, Mr. President and members of the Newark Municipal City Council. My name is Ramon Luis Rodriguez. I reside at 596 Summer Avenue. Before I start what I'm going to say, I want to say this. You know, there's a poem that's written, the last verse is written on the Statue of Liberty, and it says, "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses, yearning to what? To breathe free," right? And then it says, let me see, I'm a little, okay, here we go. Then it says, oh, it's okay. The wretched refuse of your teeming shore, send these, the homeless, tempest tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. That was written by Emma Lazarus. If she would have written that today, she would have said, don't send the homeless to Newark, you know? And I'm going to tell you why, okay? I first would like to congratulate you on your re-election. Even though I didn't waste my time or my votes for any of you, because all you become are nothing but a rubber stamp for Mayor Ras Baraka's policies that have neglected to include all the constituents of the city of Newark, okay? You only serve one group, the corporations, those that line your pockets and your campaign coffers. It's no wonder that so little people came out to vote, you know? They are tired of the bureaucratic BS that's going on in this city. You all have made a magnet for corporations, you claim, but the truth is that you've become a city that doesn't care for the least of your population, and have also targeted those that attempt to help them. You know, you're attacking them too, all right? The National Law Center recently did a research showing that 234 American cities, 40% made it a crime to sleep in public spaces. 56% prohibited loitering in public spaces, and 53% prohibited begging and panhandling in public places. When cities use laws and policies such as these that target homeless people for taking actions necessary for them to survive, the impact is felt far and wide. While most people experience homelessness, you know, are often, you know, that experience it most profoundly, you know, these measures also tax the already overburdened criminal justice systems and impact service providers' ability to do their work. A rising amount of cities across the nation now have made it illegal, to feed the homeless. Okay, they say the city is concerned about food safety, sure. The city requires a permit. Yeah, they need a fee, of course, in order to distribute free food. The city has strict food preparation guidelines. The city requires food distribution to be done indoors. The city wants to make homeless people go away. All good, but at the same time, they are making what is a practice of carrying persons, religious, a crime. They're saying that religious people that go out and feed the homeless are now criminals. That's what they're making them. Shelters are being closed like 224 in 10 days, where individuals have exhausted all their opportunities to get assistance from the government and have nowhere else to turn to. Instead of having a homeless prevention program like you have in the city of Newark, you should now change it to the homeless creation program, because that is what you are doing. I don't blame you alone, I blame the mayor also, who's leading you all, and it's your puppet massacre. All you are his puppets, all right? All right? And I don't blame all of you, I blame the churches in the city of Newark too. They hide behind the cross. They hide behind the crescent and behind the Star of David, okay? They feed the hungry, some clothe the naked, some give them shelter, you know? But they put the parts of the Bible, the Quran, the Book of Moses to their satisfaction, pounding their chests, receiving tax-exempt status, all right? Aligning their pockets like they do with you, okay? The pastors, the priests, the reverends, the bishops, you know, Joe D and his crew are in the churches now. And also in the 501c3s, okay? Now it's sad to say that even the majority of the nonprofits here in the city of Newark are implicated with this Joe D individual, okay? And he's got these, and he got you in this web that once you're in it, you ain't coming out, baby. Okay? You're not coming out, you're staying in there. You are not, except you, sister, all right? You all are no different than them people that were snatching them children from their parents. You're the same. You're even worse than them, all right? Okay? Okay? Because all are American citizens.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I got time here, buddy.
No.
All right? What?
The light's red.
No, your light's red.
No, your light's red.
Your light's red.
Your light's red. Next speaker, please.
Louis Shockley.
Mr. Shockley.
That's right.
Keep talking.
You're going to be judged soon. All of you are going to jail. Watch.
Can't get a sign for Frank though yet. Nah, not yet. Louis Shockley, 86 Napoleon Street. Where do I start? Man, I had a totally different way of going tonight. But let me just clean up what I left out there last time, pick that luggage back up. City of Newark, you cannot tell me it is possible, not for a former, but a current felon to be getting taxpayer dollars working down at the State House, Linda Juma. You can't tell me that's possible. I don't understand it. Lost a job in Jersey City because of the allegations and the charges, but now you're telling me you can work down at the State House. You know, I told you people before, Kabori Tucker walked out of jail into a $90,000 state job. Whose kid, nephew, niece, daughter could do that? If you violate your parole, how do you get your parole hearing, not in June, when the allegations were done in April and May? How do you get kicked back to July? My nephew would be already locked up. All them charges, all that violation, you kidding me? They just put Paul Manafort away. But his is a little more serious. He's trying to call people and tamper with witnesses, but I wouldn't put that past you guys as well. But you got Cleo Tucker, who also proposed that you go get a license for your child's bicycle. Y'all forget this? Y'all forget that Grace Spencer, now Judge Spencer, don't know how he did that either, Joe D Club. Now, she proposed that you get a seat for a dog. But I got homeless people, I got housing issues, I got jobless issues, I got tons of issues. But this is what my state representatives give me. I got a state senator, Senator Rice, who wants to propose that people vote from behind bars. All I gotta do is go down there and give everybody some cigarettes. I own the whole cell block. But you are against legalizing marijuana, which is locking these same people up. Man, I don't understand this logic. And now you have a complicit council, because you're all complicit. Because if the Republicans are complicit for everything Trump does, you're complicit for everything this guy on the second floor does. Same thing y'all did with Booker. Same thing, ain't nothing changed. Same Booker ride. Ain't but two people up there ain't had nothing to do with Cory Hooker. Okay? But everybody else up there rode in with him, and you're gonna die with him. Okay? This makes absolutely no sense for this to continue. Told you about Keith Kennard, FBI investigations, all this going on. Now y'all hire Cirillo. Another one come out of his head with all kinds of charges. And he's a West Orange councilman too. Man, you must got a lot of time. I thought it was only 24 hours on the clock. Because it must be 36 hours in a day for you to be a West Orange councilman and run the largest housing authority in the state. What's up with this? Your boys down there in Trenton now proposing to get more money in their pensions. You about to shut the state down, and here they are, oh yeah, let's get some more pension money, yeah. Let's pad it up some more. This makes no sense. And let me just finish with this. We all understand that Puerto Rican citizens are citizens of the United States, Lou. We don't need that history lesson. The issue is, they are your Latino, Hispanic brothers and sisters. That's like me saying that I ain't got nothing to do with that black man coming from Africa. He part of me. Okay, it's the African diaspora. It's the Hispanic Latino diaspora. So everybody's included. That's right. So you can't hide behind that one. Because I was waiting for this report to come out. 64 people died in Puerto Rico, really? You see the new report, Lou? Gonzalez, you guys see the new report? Over 4,000. We lost over close to 1,000 on the mainland. Ain't no way you're gonna get me to believe that lie. But y'all went over there to party after the re-election. You went over there to party, but you still ain't got no heat. Still ain't got no electricity. Your grid's still down. People still dying. And you guys just sit there. But it's about partying. It's about getting re-elected with what? 29,000 people coming out? That's everybody works for the city of Newark. That Cory ain't fired. That's all that is. But citizens of Newark, you must wake up, you must come out, continue to call, and we're going to make some noise.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Helene Freeman.
Yes, Helene Freeman, North Ward, and I'm here basically to talk about a couple of issues. First of all, the homeless issue. You hired Victor Cirillo to be your Newark Housing Authority director, whose speciality is to the dismantling of housing and making people homeless. You hired him with a six-figure salary to come here to put people on the street. There are women sleeping in project hallways and in the doorways, while units that should be viable and rehab are laying waste, and they're sleeping in the doorways. And I want Osborne, McCellum, and James, and Gonzalez to come with me, and you, Councilman Quintana, to come with me tonight. And you can see these people sleeping outside while the units are boarded up. And you hired Victor, and you knew that Victor would come in here to clear the public housing so that you could sell off the land to private developers. Now, 224 Sussex Avenue. Oh, everybody's just so worried about 224 Sussex Avenue. But the Goodwill Mission has been reaching out to you for 6 months. None of you have replied to them. They were reaching out to you. Ms. Hudson gave me permission to give you the information. She's been calling, and I have a handwritten note from her. She's been calling you, reaching out to you so that there would be a transition, so that the homeless men could come into a new shelter program. And you guys have not responded at all. And McCollum, homelessness is your issue. You're overseeing this particular committee. So why haven't you reached out to the Goodwill mission so that these men can transition? And why haven't you helped Goodwill get the licensure for the women's homeless shelter so that women could go there as well? So you have answers, but you're not interested in doing any of that. Ramos, double and triple dipping. He is the director of welfare, constituent services. He works for the county, and if you want to go, he's at 51 Clinton Avenue. You can go up over there to his office. And he works here as a councilman. He's getting 2 six-figure checks, and then whatever committees that he's sitting on and commissions getting extra checks. He has a woman, Ramos, who's over the homeless program. Why haven't you reached out to her? And why isn't she connecting Goodwill and the other facilities to intercept and integrate these people? You could have had an answer for 6 months ago. They might have been able to take over the shelter, but you haven't reached out. You haven't done any of those type of things because there's a problem with transparency. And that comes to my next statement. Transparency. Who are all these people that you're working? There's a gentleman, he is a vet. And I'm sure he's learned a lot of different skill sets. But you have people making 6-figure salaries here in the city of Newark with no educational background or experience. You need to get rid of them. You could hire this man to do the job. I want a website that states who are all the city employees, what their backgrounds are, how to make contact with them, their email addresses, and what their salaries are, and why are they qualified to be here. The Mike who's been displaced. Why is Obalaji still working and Mike is displaced? This doesn't make any sense. He has an indictment, or he has charges against him, complaints. Why is this not being addressed? You can shake your head all you want, but this is what we want as constituents. We want to know where our money is going. We want to know who these people are that are working here. And Aníbal Ramos, I had been posting on his Facebook. Gonzalez, your Facebook seems to be sort of a private Facebook. Osborne, I posted my comments, and Quintana, I posted my comments to his Facebook as well, because Ramos has blocked me from his Facebook because I'm not posting pretty pictures. I'm not insulting him. I'm not saying anything. I'm a constituent. I demand to be heard. If he'd like to litigate this matter, we can do so. But I will be heard, and if I have a complaint, I want the council person taking my money to address these issues. 605 4th Street is a building that's being pimped by the realtor as a multi-family dwelling. It's only 1,900 square feet. How is that a multi-family dwelling? It was a one-family house converted by the city of Newark's permission to a 2-family house, and there's more than 30 families in there. Black mold, collapsing ceilings, and I posted that video to your Facebooks, and I haven't gotten a reply.
Thank you. Thank you.
Transparency, and thank you when you start doing the transparency.
Next speaker, please.
Jimmy White.
But I'll take it.
Jimmy White.
He's right there.
Helene, one thing you just need to say when you talk about Goodwill, she says she's been reaching out to the health department and to the city of Newark for 6 months regarding the closing of 224 Sussex Avenue. Yeah. One of the things that I mentioned when the health department was before us, I reminded Councilman Quintana and Councilman Ramos that we attended an event that Senator Bob Menendez put together to raise money. Bob Torricelli, thank you. And you were there too, Councilman McCullum. And they said that at that time they only needed $350,000 to get the woman's part of the shelter up and running. Okay, I was told that that number is impossible. Well, I guess so. If we spend $1 million in less than 7 months to do 200 some odd people. But I'm curious as to why the Goodwill Rescue Mission has not been contacted.
They were not contacted, and I spoke with her today, and they were not contacted. But a lot of this could have been avoided. You have hundreds of units in the Central Ward, in the North Ward, who are boarded up right now that could be rehabbed so that these people have a place to live. You brought Victor Cirillo in. He is not for housing. He's not a housing advocate. His specialty when he was in Passaic
is closing down.
The getting buildings, public housing closed down. When you close down
private developers.
Please, next speaker, please.
I know you don't like to hear that, Amador, but it's the truth.
You have 5 minutes, ma'am. Next speaker, Mr. White. Mr. White?
He's right there.
Mr. White, please.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
I had a number of things to talk about today, but you know, from hearing and listening, from what's going on, from hearing and listening. You're not that important. You don't cut that out. You don't cut that out. You ain't that important. You better cut that out. What's wrong with you? You listen to me. How you doing? Yes. I'm here to talk about basically what's going on with Newark. My name is Jimmy White. I reside at 63 Sherman Avenue, Newark, New Jersey. Southward resident. First and foremost, I'd like to talk about Newark Memorial Park. It's located right across right on Springfield Avenue, across the street from the Sonics. It's where People's Organization for Progress, especially the popcorn kids, have the memorial of the rebellion of 1967. We're asking it to be renamed Newark Memorial Park. Miss Sandra Hayward over there in the pink shirt. The popcorn kids been taking care of that park, buying flowers at $100, paying somebody to keep it mowed, and we asking that it be gated up and we name it Newark Memorial Park to be able to preserve the history of Newark, New Jersey, and continue to teach our residents and youth about what's going on in our community. That's first. We have a number of emails here by Miss Crump, and she also has the lease to the park as well. So she's been doing a great job taking care of it, winter, rain, or fall, putting Kwanzaa wreaths on the park. She also, she can't speak today because she didn't make the list, but she also have made contact with people to get a new stone there for those who have passed away. So please get in contact with Miss Sandra Hayward. She's saying right there, get an aid, someone to work with her. I heard that Miss Crump was in the hospital, so I hope she get a speedy recovery. Right, but this is something that's bothering me. Mr. Sharp James, my brother just came up, Mr. Tyree Dumas.
Yes.
And he said he was in the shelter and your response was atrocious. I'm gonna be honest with you. It was atrocious, it was defensive. Instead of you saying that, hey, we're gonna get an aid to work with you, to make sure that we take you in the right steps, you were very defensive and it was very nasty. It felt like you had these things planned out when you seen them from the beginning. Instead of just saying, hey, I'm gonna get somebody to help you. You know, a lot of resources in the city, and I'm gonna help you get much work. And hey, you know what? I'm gonna even write a letter to your job and let them know the troubles that you're having. That we got your back as a city. You know, that's what we could do as community lobbyists. And I consider myself a community lobbyist, and thus as an elected official, that's the power that you have to make happen. So if you can, write the brother a letter for his job, telling him that, you know what. He's going through some trouble. He had a fire at his house, so we ask you for some patience, right? So this is some things we can do to ensure that he has at least have some comfort knowing that he's able to bring some income home. And also, we can also utilize our power as elected officials. Everyone up there has the power to do this and make sure that he's comfortable. Also, the homeless situation down there. We have passionate people that's passionate about the homeless. And I'm actually getting tired since I've been coming on this mic, hearing people getting hired outside the city that don't have that same passion. We got very knowledgeable people in the city, from Miss Freeman to the brother that spoke about homelessness. He out there without a salary making this happen. Those are people that should be getting paid. Those are people that would take money out their pocket to make sure that
extra people get whatever they need to get. And that's a problem. We keep hiring people outside the city to make sure that, I don't know, whatever deal that's being made to do stuff that people in the city have been fighting for the longest, for decades before I even became active. And those are people that should be getting hired. Those are people that got people that's under them to make sure that they feel just as passionate about the homeless and making sure they not even that they have a place to stay, but transition, which is probably the most important part. Secondly, what I was gonna say, tax abatements. We have from housing, because I had I got you. I was actually gonna touch on that. We keep giving out tax abatements, and when Trump is looking to cut $2.9 million from housing in 2019, it's up to us as a city to get ready for that and build a bigger tax base to be able to help more residents. We got a lot of residents in front of City Hall rallying, and those are some of the people that had went to jail, based on just trying to survive. Now we're putting people back in that same position to try to survive again. So for people to sit out there and rally in front of City Hall as much as they rally, nobody come to respond, nobody come to say anything. We putting people in position. In the summertime, we see it all the time, the crime rise, right? So it's on us as community people, especially as elected officials, to put ourselves in position to love a little more. Mr. Amador, she had great points. We could at least let Ms. Cheneyfield address those points, and everybody else who want to address those points. Mr. McCullum, if you're in charge of homeless, then you should be saying something up there. You should be saying something. This is not me to attack anybody. I'm just being honest with you. It's just honest, man to man, one of them human to human. We got to do better than this. Say something. Come on, let's make it happen, people. Come on.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Ronald Mayrick. Ronald Mayrick.
Who's that?
Oh, Coach Bernie Adams, hey, welcome in the house, along with Council President Donald Bradley.
Samira?
Yes, my name is Ronald.
Please.
My name is Ronald Bostic Myrick, right? Resident 34 Muhammad Ali Avenue. All right, I have part 2 of presentation, the future of our youth. I'm concerned with the youth. After working security in what we would call ghetto areas, today the hood, I've seen enough to know that there's more needed for our youth. Right? Gunplay, common, Chadwick Avenue. All right, gunplay, common, Chadwick Avenue. I even worked at 440 Elizabeth Avenue before it was shut down for a lack of ability to get insurance. All right, Carmel Towers. All right. After working Chadwick Avenue, I decided to study for the ministry. I've seen that much. But my question is, part 2 is, what are we doing for family? Right? Different family values. Does the education system, instead of taking things for granted that they're going to be taught this and that at home, or someplace else, I thought you told me. No. All right, I believe our government has to take a certain responsibility to say, well, we did try, right? Do we have a program on family and home, core values? Do we have teachings of moral standards and money management? The morning prayer, all right, was taken out of school. You know, I remember that very well. A reading from the Bible. Could we have it where they could pray in silence, all right? They're on different religions. It wouldn't matter if they just took a moment to pray in silence. I don't know about you, but when I read the word, all right, just one verse, all right, I feel the difference, all right? And prayer to me is my way of communicating, all right, with the Father. That's me. All right, how about something like a career day, all right? Maybe we can have people of different professions, you know, blue collar, white collar, it doesn't matter. All right, go to the schools and talk about their profession, you know. Of course, having a job, to me, is one of the major issues today, unemployment. You know. Youth hearings, how about, do you have anything where teenagers or grade school citizens can come here and take part, you know, learn something about governing a community, all right? And after school activities, that's a must. It's a must, all right? We need that. We have to keep our youth busy, all right, doing the right things. Because it's easy for them to wander out here and find the wrong things to do. I've seen enough of it, all right? All right, and I'd like to read chapter 41 of Isaiah, and this is for our leaders, all right? Chapter 41, verse 10, then verse 13. Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am thy God. I will strengthen thee, yea, I will help thee. Yea, I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness. For I, the Lord, thy God, will hold the right hand, saying unto thee, fear not, I will help thee, all right? It helps to pray.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
10-4 Evans.
Not appearing.
Hearing.
Donald Jackson.
Not appearing. Is he?
That's Donald, he said.
Donald Jackson.
Donald.
You gonna kill me.
Next speaker.
Donna Jackson.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, let me get the gum out in case I cuss. Good morning. Donna Jackson, 128 Smith Street. Born and raised, and it ain't leaving no matter how much gentrification y'all do. How about that? Won't run me out of here. I don't understand. 50% of the people at 224 are working. You sat in here yesterday, you had a discussion, and with the wave of a wand, and it's the United Nations over there, because all our people over there. So this ain't a black, this ain't a Spanish, this our people. Even got a couple of white people over there. So it's the rainbow. Even the Chinese guy came in the other day. So we got everybody up in there. Oh yes. Newark police still dropping people off there. Still dropping people off. They dropped people off last night. UMD and J sent 3 people there today. Now next Friday is the last day. So now, I'm angry with all of y'all because y'all hired Dr. Wade. Y'all approved Vicki Donaldson to be the director over the homeless program. Y'all gotta vote on these directors, so don't look at me like, oh, what is she talking about? You know, dumb over in the corner tell y'all this person won't be there. Y'all don't do no resume checking, no background checking. Half of these people ain't did nothing before they got here. So now Vicki Donaldson assured the service providers and the people in that shelter that it would be open for a year, out of her mouth. Dr. Wade stood before you last month, and he stood here discombobulated. Oh, no, I don't know. I don't know what the budget is. I don't know. He interviewed yesterday with Channel 11 and did the exact same thing. When Jay Dow asked him, what's the $680,000 for? I got to look at the paper. Sir, you're the director. Now, I'm mad at y'all because there's a competency issue. I fire Mr. Kelly every month. Y'all ain't fired him yet. You should have. But we're talking about competence here, and it reflects on you. Y'all think y'all the Essex County Mafia with the Avenger thing now, all these mayors and stuff? Do y'all know how these white folk who know how to conduct business, because y'all don't, talk about y'all? Do you know what Norcross is saying about y'all, Team Baraka? Do you know the laughing that they do at y'all in Trenton? Do you understand that? Do you understand we are the most disrespected city in the state of New Jersey, in the most corrupt county in the state of New Jersey, and y'all think that's all right? I'm sorry, Aneva, here tonight, and I love all of y'all. Aneva, you run everything at that county. You number 2 under Joe Defeat. So guess what, people out there, because y'all don't know, Aneva banging 6 figures big, over $500,000 a year. But Aneva is in charge of your food stamps. Aneva is why you don't get your LIHEAP payment from that raggedy La Casa Don Pedro with they racist behinds. Aneva is the reason why you don't get your mortgage help. And see, this is the truth. Y'all can be mad if y'all want to. These people out here on both sides of the aisle, these people in the North who are suffering like hell. But they're afraid to say something. And then when the 5 courageous of us get up here, y'all want to, you damn right it's emotion. How does this man stand here after being in the fire and a veteran, and we let Cirillo tell him to get out? You got people that got busted with 50 kilos every other week, and they still live in public housing. How the hell we getting put out? On Avon Avenue and townhouses that ain't been repaired in 50 years? You damn right the heater caused the fire. Shit, it ain't seen nothing in the outlet in 10 years. He plugged the heater in so the kids not to be cold. The fire comes, and you gonna blame the victims? So you got our kids living in a damn car? So now let's understand here. You damn right we upset about the immigration baby. Damn right. But you ain't talking about the 90% of them immigrant children that were sitting over here as drug mules. They ain't come with no damn parents. That was sitting over here to be prostituted the way our children are now. I know y'all pay attention to Facebook. Every day it's a missing kid. Every day. North, Irvington, East Orange, Camden. We doing amber alerts nationwide now. We all looking for each other's kids. You see these crazy people, excuse the expression, but the Caucasians take their kids, kill them, then kill themselves. Leave the damn kid alone, go kill your damn self. Leave the babies out of it. You having a domestic. Now I know I shouldn't say that, but damn it, I'm saying it. Because you know I don't care. But lastly, let me tell y'all this. We have had 25 children that live in North and surrounding area, since we the Essex County Mafia, that have OD'd off of this new moon rock that's coming out of Arizona and California. So all of y'all that want to legalize marijuana, damn it, I don't agree. But we do have 2 babies, a 14-year-old female and a 15-year-old female that still lie today in ICU. We have 15 children inside of a charter school in Newark, 4th and 5th grade OD in the bathroom. Y'all don't know nothing about that. You know why? Because y'all keep playing this game. Let's hide this incident. Let's hide that incident. On my way in here tonight, homicide, South Street, Augie. We got a homicide over there on South Street. Me and you gonna go over there when we get finished.
Thank you.
We got to do better, y'all. Y'all gotta stop getting angry. Joe, you is no show, but you gonna start showing. And y'all gonna do some work for this year, because you only got 1 year.
Thank you.
These competitions are already tight, and I'm in charge.
Thank you. Next speaker.
El Bomani.
Yeah, I want to keep these shades on because it's a dark day that we got these same old politicians back in this seat. And it's just sad that I don't even want to look at y'all. So I'm going to be wearing dark shades, everybody, to this council meeting because it is a dark and gloomy day to be here almost 10 years plus with the same leadership and the same issues going on in this community. Munira El-Bomani, a public advocate, since we ain't got one, of Newark. I'm the public advocate. I want to give all praises to the Creator for life, health, and prosperity. And I want to say greetings. I'm going to call y'all, this is going to be y'all new name. I ain't calling you no elected officials or leaderships. You are the new government overseers. So greetings, overseers, Newark residents, and guests. To the Newark residents, I know it's a sad election of what you've seen happen and how we had to combat these people in terms of fighting for our democracy here in the city of Newark. I apologize for what we had to fight back and do to fight these people off, because there's a black Nazi camp going on in this city, and we had to fight in any which way we can to back them off of us. So if you all Newark residents haven't gotten, if you know that Newark ain't gotten any better, this is what I'm gonna say to you. This is a clear message to you, and I'm gonna keep on repeating it each and every time I come in. You got one option. 2019, July 2019, one option, and that is a recall. So I'm gonna say, by the sound of my voice, everybody give them 1 year. 1 year, if they don't address your issues, particularly the seniors who came here right after Election Day and filled up the seats in here with the stacks of complaints at every senior building. Give them 1 year. 1 year. July 2019. Recall. So I'm going to get on with the issues. Housing and lack of income, low-income housing. And I said before, the shelter was open for the code blue law, but now we need to call on a code red law, because people die from heat strokes too. You opened that shelter, which is now on for sale for $7 million. That's why you're getting them out of there. $7 million is on the shelters on for sale. That's why they're getting y'all out of there. You opened that shelter to house, access to people, offer referrals, services, placement, assistance for housing, employment, substance abuse, and mental health counseling. And I'm going to ask one more again. Where's the proven results? Where's the proven results? We got Dr. Wade in here. When you come up here, make sure you give us some results. The county and the city of Newark received millions of dollars in addressing homelessness. Millions. And you just recently got $6.3 million. We want to ask you, where is the money? Where's the breakdown? Where's the homeless money? You just got $6.3 million. Where's the money? So, we also have the low-income tax credit, right? Billions of dollars go up into that to allocate low-income housing. And you know we got an epidemic and a crisis with affordable housing for the residents that live in this city. I'm calling on the governor. I'm calling on Sheila Oliver, DCA. I'm calling on the HFMA. And I'm calling on the U.S. Treasury. I'm calling you to come and get an independent audit on where these billions and billions of dollars of our taxpayer dollars going in this city to provide low-income housing for individuals who live here. All this luxury apartment stuff that's now y'all moving into, you know, you're giving the developer all these high rises and 20% going to us, which we demand 25 more percent, because when Dana Rome left
it was a 25% quota already on the books. What happened to that legislation? And what happened to that promise made Baraka when Mary Rose called in, or when you did your voice meet the mayor on the phone, and she told you about that ordinance that Dana wrong? What happened with you putting that other 20% to that 25% that was already established here in this city, Mr. Mayor? We heard you on the phone. We know Dana wrong before she left here. It was already 25% on the book.
Thank you.
What happened to the other percentage? Because that 20%, there's no...
Thank you. Thank you. Next speaker, please. Next speaker, please.
Chief DaCosta.
Next speaker, please.
Chief DaCosta. Chief DaCosta.
Can we? Next speaker, please.
Chief DaCosta.
Not here. Not up here.
Not appearing.
Keith DaCosta.
Member Salters.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Deborah Salter, City of Newark. And again, I don't believe anyone loves the city more than me. Of course, I'm going to say that. I know y'all do. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. You know, I was listening to everything, because I was going to talk about something else, but I was listening to everything about the jobs and the people that have jobs in this city, and I mentioned it last time, and the ones that are still here after the egregious acts that they've done. I mean, just downright dirty, disgusting things, right? But in the streets, and I've been the one to tell, you know, the mayor and the council and everybody what the word on the streets is, what people feel and what they're saying, or they're afraid of things like that. So I have to apologize to you, the public, who have told me, Cassandra, John, Monira, not this Cassandra, another Cassandra, and all you people out there that told me that eventually what they're doing to you, they would do to me. So the entire time I've been working for the city, I was bullied, actually. I actually had the mayor get in my face and mean mug me one day because I said something in the council, like literally shoulder to shoulder, almost close enough to kiss me. And I'm silly, so I laughed. I was like, hey, how you doing? You know, but, you know, and then I've had the chief of staff, who was my boy, who I spoke to directly. I mean, from the time I started working for the city, you know, and I love us all. Y'all don't hear me. And it was constant harassment and bullying. Somebody told me one day, it was like, didn't the chief tell you not to speak? I said, wait, excuse me? So y'all now became the slave masters because I work for the city? So I lose my job because the chief threw a tantrum on the street when it was supposed to be a conversation between us. And the thing that I said, this was after the thing about me running for office quietly, and I played the rules. You know, he was mad because I ran and didn't tell anybody. But I said, yeah, Stacy did her thing. And he blew up like, oh my God, you talking crazy, because she was able to get me hired. But I am more than qualified. They've had my resume for like 4 years. You know what I mean? So my thing is, you were right, people. I'm apologizing to the public. I kept pressing and saying, well, let me at least talk to them. No, it's not like that. No, I was bullied. The mayor himself mean mugged me. The only time he spoke to me nicely was after they terminated me. That's the first time he actually said, oh, hey, how are you? Literally, I have a picture where he was like, if I could kill you, I would. I'm going to show you the picture. I'm going to print it out and show it to you. It has happened since I've been working here, but I don't talk about it like I told Stacy. My city doesn't need any more bad publicity. So that's what I did. I try to work with you. By the time I come up here and talk, you just have exhausted everything. You just not going to work with me. I talked about the Women's Center because that's something that we would put out there for the women. And this mayor says we're family. Oh, we're family. You know, families fight. And you can, if you see something, say something. We quote Malcolm and Martin, even his father. They don't stand by any of the things that they say. You're mad at the people who do the work and tell the truth. But you said say something. So I'm telling you what the people are saying. Then I become I'm the enemy because I'm telling you I'm doing the thing that you told me to do. If you say it's red, I say it's red. If you say it's blue, I say it's blue. Make up your mind. You can't have it both ways. If you want us to work with you, if you say you want this done, I'm the type of person, you tell me you want something done, boom, I want it. Let's go, let's get it done. Hey, let's make it happen. Even where I was working in the IT department, you have the supervisor, Tawana Johnson, you have Regina McCrae who's there, who does nothing, and it's known. This woman is she steals more time than somebody locked up in Leavenworth somewhere. Like, who does this? And they get away with it. You have them in 1008. But the people that are doing the work, you get mad at the people who are working. That does not make sense. And I asked the question. I said, how stupid is this? You're mad because I'm doing the work. Now, what do you have? She actually came up one day with her hands on her hips because I'm fixing somebody's computer. What is wrong with these people? The ones who call out, have no more time left, or abusing time like nothing ever seen, y'all love those people. You know why? Because they're beholden to you. It's like, so I feel like with the mail, I guess I was supposed to say, I'm sorry, boss. I didn't know I wasn't supposed to speak to the other Negroes. I'm sorry. Please forgive me, massa. Is that what I was supposed to say? Was I supposed to bow down and kiss your feet and other body parts? Because I just simply did what you said you wanted me to do. You said, we are being held accountable for what we do. If you see something, say something. Tell me, let's fix this. Let's work together. You don't want to work together. Those are words. Those are words. I do not have a job. You threw me out and did not care. And Stacey told me, well, you have an extensive resume. I'm sure you'll be okay.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Austin Singleton. Felicia Austin Singleton.
Deborah, I don't know if you belong to a union, but you should. If you don't belong to a union, you need to get an attorney.
Please, lawyers, help us. All you civil rights lawyers, where are you? Please.
Go ahead.
Good evening. My name is Felicia Austin Singleton, Jose Rosario, and I heard a voice from heaven. And the voice from heaven said to me that we had denied certain First Amendment rights. But somewhere he heard that there was freedom of assembly. Somewhere he heard there was freedom of speech. Somewhere he heard there was a freedom of press. But somewhere, with the greatness of America, we have the right to assemble for what's right. You can get your cops to come over and stop us from doing what we have to do, but we will not be turned around. Word of Dr. Martin Luther King. Where has that gone? He said we had a right to assemble. He said we had a right to speak the truth. Well, I'm hoping that it's going to come to see that I've been speaking the truth with my COCs that I've been talking about for the homeless people, what I was asking about the McKinney Act. When I came up here in November of last year and I asked Ramos to go ask Joey D why he treat the animals in West Orange better than he treat the residents in the city of Newark. Did y'all remember that? Nobody wants to remember that. But can we take some of that money that we got from the Universal Circus using Newark Housing Authority property to the Baxter Terrace area and give it to the homeless people? Or maybe give it to Terrell Homes. The city of Newark, y'all was posted up all around Universal, but had Newark Housing Authority as a sponsor. Y'all was all up in there charging people charging people to park on the land. Do y'all know about land use? Do you know about land deeds? That South Boyne project gonna be done? That Riverside Terrell Homes, I'm sorry y'all, it's after election. Y'all closing down. They wanted to after July 2018, and it's here, baby. I want to see what they got, or maybe it's what y'all will be voting on for the second reading. Will be the Newark Housing Authority piece of property that we're the redevelopment agency, part of the redevelopment agency for the city, right, Mr. Cologne? We are Newark Housing Authority. That's why we have a redevelopment and public housing. Victor Cirillo, Keith Kennard, I said it once, I'm gonna say it again. One man can't do two jobs. He can't build the city up and then still preserve affordable housing, public housing. It's a problem. But I'm gonna handle that tomorrow at the other meeting. But I wanna say this to you. Remember that the same people that you asked to be voted in has given you the vote. Now it's time for you to cough up and make do what's done. Well, however they got there, you're there. And we need you to be good on your word. We need you to step up and come out and tell the people, or tell Joey D and the Avengers, like everybody else said, that we're not having it. We're not having it. It's simple. The people said no. It's simple. Or we're going to recall you. It hasn't been done before, but it is. We have researched it now. It's going to be done. We have got lawyers. Remember this, OIG. Know what that is? Google it. OIG, remember that. Because that's the feds. They more than the alphabet of the FBI, CIA, NCIS, whatever you want to call them, but guess what? They coming. They coming. And I hope you realize and be real sure about yourself. Because the day that they pull these records and contracts from the city, you better call Baye and ask him, did he get jacked up in Edison parking lot company? Ask him. And for what? Misuse of contracts. Y'all, it's sad. We came here and told y'all time and time again, and nothing happened. Well, please review the tapes from 2015, when I came in the beginning of 2015, to now. You'll see everything I've said to you and watch it unfold. Thank you.
Melvin L. Waldrop.
Next speaker.
Members of, I love you too. You're my girl. Members of Municipal Council, my name is Melvin Waldrop, and I reside at 111 Mulberry Street in Newark. First, let me congratulate those of you who ran for re-election and were given the privilege, and I underline privilege, of serving the great people of our city for another 4 years. And Councilmember Chaney Phil, I want to wish you all of the best in your future endeavors.
Thank you very much, Mr. Waldrop.
My purpose in coming before you this evening is to share with you some thoughts that I hope will help shape your respective ward plans as you prepare them to promote economic empowerment of your constituents during your next term in office. Over the last 4 years, Newark has experienced significant economic growth and development, thanks to your support in the mayor's leadership. Based on projects that are currently in the pipeline and that have recently been announced, Newark's economic renaissance is positioned to continue unabated. The challenge for us is to ensure that the benefits of the city's economic renaissance reach down to residents of our city, especially those of our residents on the margins of our economy. In addition to working diligently with the mayor and his administration to ensure that Newarkers receive their fair share of employment opportunities from this economic renaissance, I believe that you must also incorporate strategies into your ward plans to help our residents build wealth and economic independence. Yes. In this regard, it's important to understand the business opportunities that will be created by the economic renaissance. You should begin now to engage and work with your constituents and businesses to develop strategies to obtain their fair share of these opportunities in the form of major contracts. The mayor recently announced with the Port Authority a multi-billion-dollar renovation of Newark Liberty Airport. What are the construction specialties that will be required to complete this work? How much of the billions of dollars of this work will go to black and brown contractors or business owners in your wards in the form of construction contracts or as concessionaires after the renovation is completed? The second thing I recommend you do, if you're not already familiar with them, is become educated on business formation alternatives. Such business formation alternatives include joint ventures, which have the potential to help black and brown businesses too small to bid on large projects as a single proprietor to do so as a team. Joint ventures could be a vehicle to help Newark black and brown businesses achieve the scale necessary to participate on large projects or contracts that may be available as part of the airport renovation, for example. Another business formation alternative are business cooperatives, worker-owned businesses. Cooperatives have a history in the black community that dates back to the 1900s. Cooperatives also have a history in the immigrant communities. In the East Ward, there is a successful worker co-op by the name of Green Magic, a cleaning service business, 100% worker-owned and operated. Green Magic could be a model and inspiration for constituents in other wards desiring to organize a cooperative. Cooperatives continue to be a viable economic empowerment strategy for black and brown people seeking to build wealth and take control of their economic destiny. As the W.E.B. Du Bois character says in the play, The Black Conference, we have an opportunity here to establish a progressive and self-supporting economy and weld ourselves into an impregnable economic phalanx. Your strategic leadership and collaboration among yourselves with the mayor and the constituents and businesses of your wards will be critical in achieving the vision Du Bois' character described. This is Newark's time, and we may not ever have this chance again. So let's seize it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker, please.
Charlene Evans.
Charlene Evans. Not appearing.
Sister Eunice Bay.
Go ahead.
Islam, everyone. I thank and praise Allah, the Almighty God Allah, for allowing me to arise and be here today, breathing His holy breath.
Amen.
I give honor to Allah and His divine prophet, Prophet Noble Jurali, for all the wonderful works he has brought to us. And I give honor to the Newark City Council. I am appealing today to the Newark City Council. We need, on South 13th Street, I'm the president of South 13th Street Block Association, and we need several things to keep our community nice, which is the name of it, New Improvement Community and Environment. We need curb your dog signs. We need the curb your dog signs on South 13th Street from Clinton Avenue to Avon Avenue. We need them on Madison Avenue. We need the signs that have the mayor's name on it, the City of Newark Council, the fine from $100 to $500. We need this throughout South 13th Street, Madison Avenue, from 12th Street to 14th Street. We need no littering signs. We need no loitering signs. We need our neighbors to assist each other and help bring the garbage cans inside so that the garbage cans don't stay outside all day, all night, all week.
We need the street cleaner to clean our streets up to the curb. Every Tuesday, like they're supposed to come, they're not coming and cleaning. We have a no parking sign that's laying in the aisle on the corner of Madison Avenue and South 13th Street, right across the street from our councilman's house. It has been laying there for a long time. It needs to be put back up. The signs that are there, the poles that are there, I should say, when the signs are made, they can be screwed to the existing poles. It's not that you really need to put up a lot of extra poles, because we have poles there. We need the signs that say that. We need the people to stop throwing trash out of their cars. We pick them up. We sweep the streets. We try to keep South 13th Street very clean. The cars are deliberately throwing this debris out. We pride South 13th Street as a model street. We need the abandoned houses on South 14th Street, specifically 862 South 14th Street. And it's boarded up. They're coming through, they take the boards off. They don't care. But they're coming through our neighbor's house at 853 South 13th Street. They're coming in her backyard. They're coming in the house next door. They come through their property to come to South 13th Street. They stole the beautiful lights from 863 South 13th Street. We take pride in fixing up South 13th Street to make it nice and clean, flowers and lights, and we want a nice community. We have a house at 700 Clinton Place that the hedges are so very, very tall, all raggedy. It is depreciating the neighborhood. I passed out copies that I made of the beautiful plants that you put on the corner. They throw garbage in it. They steal the flowers out of it. We have 852 and 854 South 13th Street, where the owner told the code enforcer inspector to get off of his property from the debris that he keep on the front of his porch, degrading the neighbor who lived next to him, across from him, degrading South 13th Street. We need school crossing guards. Last but not least, we need school crossing guards on the corner of either South 14th Street and Madison Avenue or South 13th Street and Clinton Avenue. But the children need that protection. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bay.
Thank you.
Carol Bodine.
Carol Bodine.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, council members. My name is Carol Bodine. I reside at 25 Clifton Avenue, Newark, New Jersey. That's Colonnade Apartments. I'm standing here in agreement with your constituents, my fellow tenant activists, as well as tenant organizations, to ask for your help and review in this wonderful security guard ordinance. We are very underserved at the Colonnade Park Apartments. Thank you. I'm going to read a bit of this statement. Colony Park Apartments is owned by PF Holding Company. We feel they are not in compliance with the current security guard ordinance as written. The way that we read the ordinance is any housing unit with an entrance to over 100 units or more requires one unarmed security guard during the day and one armed security guard during the evening and overtime hours. That would be a total of 4 guards for the Colonnade Park Apartments, 1 armed and 1 unarmed in each building. Let me tell you why we feel they're not compliant and we need your help. They took a look at this ordinance and they stretched the terms on this ordinance. Tell me why you've decreased services in a building that has 580 units and you are only going to have 2 guards in the building for 24 hours. Colony Park Apartments is 2 buildings, 2 separate lobby entrances in the front, Clifton Avenue, 2 entrances in the back. But what's happened is this landlord has stretched the terms on this ordinance so that they feel that they are over compliant with the ordinance. And we are asking you to fine these people. The city of Newark needs money. Start finding the people that have the money to pay. Prior to May 14th, we had 3 guards on duty, 1 unarmed guard in each building, 1 armed guard to patrol the entire property in the nighttime hours. Why now, around May 14th, the number of guards has been reduced from 3 to 2. And let me just tell you what the property manager, Bill Moffitt, can you get that for me, has stated about how he feels the importance of making his bottom line versus security in that building. We have removed selected shifts to remain overly compliant with the city ordinance with our contractor for the near future. We will not share the schedule nor the duties assigned with the public so as not to encourage any issues that may arise. The exterior lock, and he calls it the FOB system, it's the little mechanical lock that's broken half the time system, will remain in effect. I just want to know how, as an owner, you feel that your tenants are safe. We have senior citizens, we have issues with the security cameras, and he's not in compliance because according to this ordinance, all right, it reads, in the event that no one building entrance has access to 100 housing units, then the security guard shall be required to patrol the entire complex. So that means he cannot have a guard go from the C side to the D side. That person has to sit there, right, for his duty 8 hours, and then the unarmed guard has to come in, or vice versa. He cannot even travel. That is being done. The fire alarm system is not linked, so there was a situation where a tenant actually had to tell the guard that was sitting on one side that there was an alarm going off on the other side. They didn't even know that. We are asking you to meet with us constituents 1 week from today to sit down and review this ordinance, and if this owner is not in compliance, we demand that they be fined.
Thank you.
Ms. Bodine, unfortunately, in the absence of Councilman Ramos, he did propose propose a change in the existing security ordinance, and it's supposed to be updated. It was supposed to be introduced this evening, and he asked me to move it from communications to first reading, but it did not come from the law department as of yet. So I'm certain that at the next special it will be addressed. But Kyle and I have had meetings with this particular owner, and prior to the end of next week, I'll reach out to you guys before June 30th and continue to have some conversations, because one of the things I think what he's trying to do is punish you all because you didn't go for the way he wanted to do the gates on the building and rearrange the gates, because it would have been more effective for him to have less property, to have his people patrol as far as the circumference around the building. But the majority of you said you didn't want it when you went before the historical commission. You protested, and it didn't happen. So I think this is some type of retribution. But we will reach out to you before I leave, okay?
Okay, can I just say one last thing, that I'm going to end this? I just want everybody to know that there is a state law, Title 13, Law and Public Safety, Chapter 55A, that needs to be looked at, which describes what a security officer's role is, what their job is, and the ordinance is weak. It needs to be strengthened. It does not even comply with the basic state law of New Jersey. That can be found on the website www.state.newjersey.us, and you will look at Title 13. It is very descriptive of what a security officer is supposed to do. So that definitely needs to be reviewed and argued if Mr. Ramos is presenting something that's going to decrease what we have now instead of giving us something stronger.
He's trying to strengthen it.
Oh, great.
He's trying to strengthen it.
Okay.
And what we are trying to do, and what the council should do, is make sure that the areas like the colonnades where there has been underutilization of security for the residents because of the owner of the building trying to save money, the fines that will be imposed will be much more severe, and it's a matter of enforcement at that point in time. One of the things I had suggested to Councilman Ramos when he was doing the ordinance is that times have changed. And I believe that we should make these owners have, especially in certain buildings, an armed guard every 8-hour shift. So he's doing it to strengthen it. So we'll make sure that we talk before June 30th, okay?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ordinance?
Mr. President, that concludes the list of speakers for this evening. The next hearing of citizens will take place at the public council meeting of July 11th, beginning at 12:30 p.m. here in the council chamber. To the regular agenda. Council of the whole to accept the reports of the boards and recommendations of the boards and commissions.
Yes. Yes.
What is that? I'm sorry.
Boards and commissions.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Council of the whole to accept the reports.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Ordinance is on first reading. 6FA is an ordinance To amend Title II Administration, Chapter 3, the Office of the City Clerk, organizations to file agendas, minutes, and audit reports, other information with the City Clerk. Council of the whole to adopt on first reading?
Move it.
Yeah. Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Yes.
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 Council Osborne.
Yes.
B is an ordinance amending section
Will
20.
you please keep quiet, please? So we can conduct the business?
6FB is an ordinance amending section 23.
Mr. President, before we go to the next one, I had requested the clerk to review this ordinance so that we can have a general one where we don't have to list all the entities that are listed here. I believe that we should have one that says that every entity in the city of Newark that is sponsored by the city should submit reports instead of having to mention every one of them. And I requested that some time ago, and I don't know where we stand with that.
Councilman, we are working on that, but in the interim, we wanted to bring in
No, I want to move it. I just want to see where we are in terms of having one that is more inclusive, and we don't have to list all of them.
We are working on that language for you, Councilman. Six FB is an ordinance amending section 23:5-14E, parking by permit only. This revises the existing parking hours on north side of Bleecker Street.
Mr. Clerk, security, please. Can we keep everybody quiet?
Move her out.
We can't hear you. You ain't speaking in the mic, man. Whatever you said, we didn't hear nothing you said.
Please move on.
Dark shades with darker beneath, because I see it a little bit. Just day of mourning.
6FB is an ordinance amending section 23:5-14E. This would revise the existing parking hours on north side of Bleecker Street between Dr. Martin Luther King Boulevard and University Avenue.
Move it.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
6FC is an ordinance authorizing entry into a lease agreement with the MC University Realty LLC as landlord for the municipal office space for the Newark Office of Workforce Development located at 321 University Avenue.
I didn't move that, so you might as well do that as a council as a whole.
So the whole to adopt on first reading?
There were some questions that we
There were questions, so I didn't move that.
There were questions about whether or not there was available office space elsewhere in the city.
Yes.
But it was also brought up that if we did not move forward, the state would not do their part of it. Newark had to do it initially, and this is going to be a co-located office, the city of Newark and the state. This is basically they're moving 900 Broad Street to this new facility.
Well,
yeah.
And this is also the property that at one point in time they were trying to move to Cedar Street when that lease was going up. And Mr. Surf was part of that, so y'all can vote on it. And I abstain, so go ahead.
Also the whole to adopt? Roll call.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
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 Mr. President, the ordinance adopted on first reading this evening will be advertised in accordance with law, and a public hearing will be held at the regular council meeting of July 11, 2018, beginning at 12:30 p.m. here in the council chamber. Resolutions? No. Ordinance on public reading,
Second reading.
Second reading and final passage. 6 PS and FA is an ordinance amending section 23:5-14E, parking by permit only in designated residential areas. This would add Sherman Avenue, both sides between Hunter Street and Stanton Street, to the parking by permit only. Councilman James wishes to move, second by Councilman Osborne. Is there anyone present that wishes to be heard on this ordinance?
No one appearing.
Hearing motion, Councilman James, second by Osborne, to adopt.
Yes.
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 Mr. Clerk, before you get to success PSFB, I'd just like to ask Mr. Cologne a question. Since Newark Housing Authority is the redevelopment authority, what exactly are we doing with this portion of, for the walkway, for the riverfront walkway, to convey it to?
I'm sorry, Julio Colon, Economic Housing Development. I just wanted to bring the attorney that's actually representing Wasim Bore on the site as well. I'm not familiar with what the housing authority, but he might be able to provide some insight.
All right.
If you don't mind asking the question again, Councilwoman.
I know that there was an initial portion of this property that was traded. So my question is, what exactly this is going to be going to Bore, and the Newark Housing Authority is selling this piece to them, or this was already done with the swap?
So, Councilwoman, Andrew Camalato from Gibbons PC on behalf of Newark Waterfront Associates, LLC. The way this is proposed to work is that the Newark Housing Authority currently owns those two properties, but the city would acquire those two properties primarily to get the remaining portion of the waterfront walkway and to develop the waterfront walkway. The remaining portions would then go from the city to Newark Waterfront Associates, but it would occur on the same date, so it would be a simultaneous transfer. So even though the city would be buying the property from Newark Housing Authority, the funds for the acquisition would come from Newark Waterfront Associates.
Okay, so Newark Waterfront is selling it to the city.
No.
I mean, is buying it from the city.
Correct.
And so the money goes back to the city and not Newark Housing Authority, or does it go through Newark Housing Authority because they're the redevelopment authority?
Well, it will go to the Newark Housing Authority as the current owner of the property.
Right.
But the funds will flow through the city. So it would be city purchasing all of the property, then selling only a portion to Newark Waterfront Associates.
Okay. No, I remember I moved it the first time, and that's why I asked how this was going. So the money was staying with the housing authority. Okay, so it's passing through the city, but going to the housing authority. Okay.
The city gets the remaining portion of the walkway for free. That's the
land so they can have the walkway. That's what the city is.
It's a trade-off.
No, the waterfront is the building that's been built on Rector Street, the shack building. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for answering that question.
6 PSNFB is an ordinance to acquire all or portion of 10-18 Passaic Place and 930 McCarter Highway from the Newark Housing Authority for the Riverfront Walkway and to convey the remaining portions of the Newark Waterfront to the Newark Waterfront Associates. Is there anyone present that wishes to be heard on this ordinance?
Yes, I am. Again, council, that's why I stayed and waited. When are we going to see that, what just happened? Did you actually just see that? If the Newark Housing Authority is a redevelopment agency with the city, and it goes in, and we have to work with you with your consolidation plan, why do we need you to sell this company a piece of our land? So they're going to sell it for $125 million to the city. To what? What is he getting for it? Why that number not on here? The people of Newark Housing Authority are already being cut. We don't need the city to get in and get involved and come in and cut. Come on, Mr. Cologne, tell them we don't need them to swap our land. We own the majority of the city of Newark anyway. Y'all didn't know that? Look at your map. Your master plan says it. Oh, Mayor Baraka. Oh, I finally called your name because y'all don't do business with the Newark Housing Authority. Shame on you. Shame on you. I'm going to tell you again, $1.25 million is not a little bit of money to you, but it's a whole lot of money to us. And the Newark Housing Authority residents will organize and fight against this. How dare you take a piece of our land? You already took the same piece of property, same developers is going into that Mulberry Commons Mall, right? Right? Did y'all read that part? It's going to the Mulberry Commons Mall. So why? Why are people saying, oh, we don't do this and we don't do that, and you just putting the wall, putting smoke screen in front of the residents? Come on, council. If you vote on this, I'm telling you, you ain't got to worry about nobody throwing their hand, no throwing rocks, hiding their hand. I will report it to the Office of Investigation General. That's some side deal mess. Sloppy, crappy mess.
Felicia, one of the problems is this was already a conversion that was supposed to take place because of the swap that was taking place because of Mulberry Commons. J.L. Lopez was supposed to swap some properties. Edison was supposed to swap some properties, and Boré was supposed to swap some properties. This wasn't done when Boré was supposed to do it, and that's why it came on as an ordinance now. The properties were already swapped between J.L. Lopez, which is Don Pepe, and the property for Edison parking was already swapped. But that was something that was done from the original park when it was called Triangle Park.
The riverfront and the waterfront has lives of Newark Housing Authority residents that sit on them. That riverfront that flows down to Terrell Homes, that Mulberry Commons Mall that was supposed to take our capital funding from Terrell Homes that nobody even bothered to check on it or to send me a letter or an email, call me up. My councilman, West Ward, he know how to get in contact with me. Y'all know Councilwoman Gail Cheneyfield did. No one sat there and even looked to see that the Mulberry Commons Mall take the capital funding from Terrell Homes. But y'all say Victor Cirillo is going to cut the apartments. Well, guess what? We'll see about that tomorrow. The apartments, you going to take the apartments from the Newark Housing Authority? Y'all just got the circus on our property back to Terrace. Come on now, council. I don't care how much swapping it has to do. Look at the angle it's coming from. The Newark Housing Authority is selling land. They're not swapping nothing. That wasn't swapped with the Newark Housing Authority. Now they're going to purchase land from us to sell it to somebody else at what cost? And what benefit is that going to have for the residents of the Newark Housing Authority? I need somebody to answer that. What benefit will that have for the Newark Housing Authority residents?
It will
$1.5 million.
It will connect the Central Ward to the eastward as part of the walkway.
We catch the bus, Councilwoman, thank you.
Anyone else?
Now you can walk across.
Anybody else?
Okay.
No other speakers? Motion to close the public hearing and adopt. Councilwoman Cheney Field Jenkins, second by Councilman Quintana. Roll call.
Yes.
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 Resolutions. Resolution 7R1A is a temporary emergency appropriation for traffic signals optimization, adopted traffic signals along McCarter Highway. Councilman Amador wishes to move, second by Councilman Miguel Cheney Field Jenkins. On
the previous one.
B?
The ordinance.
Yes, B, 6FB. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Resolutions?
Second. 701A is a temporary emergency appropriation for traffic signal optimization, adoptive traffic signals along McCarter Highway. Councilman Amador wishes to move, second by Councilwoman Miguel Cheney Field Jenkins. B is a temporary emergency appropriation for traffic signal optimization. This is the city's match to this to the project. We use the same mover and second. C is a temporary emergency appropriation to provide nutritional services. This is the WIC program.
Don't come to me with that power to the people nonsense.
D is a temporary emergency appropriation for the Sun Up Food Program. Councilman James wishes to move, second by Councilman Osborne. E is a temporary emergency appropriation to provide funds for the operating expenses until the adoption of the 2018 operating budget for the city of Newark.
Up to
701E, Council of the Whole, with the exception of those with sponsor.
Are we going to D or E?
To E.
E.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes on everything but E, because we were supposed to get an explanation on what the temporary operating expenses for the water and utilities part of the budget. So I didn't get it. So yes on everything but no on E.
No on E.
Yes.
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 If I may just,
Councilman.
on E, we received a copy of a letter from the state indicating that the budget was not introduced by the 29th. The mayor would be incurring a penalty of $25 a month. I just want to make sure.
A day,
to make sure that translate to a fine to us, because we have been asking for that the introduction of the budget for months and nothing has happened. So my message to the BA is, when are we going to get the budget introduced? We should send a letter to, from the council to the BA requesting that we be informed of in writing when the budget will be introduced.
Well, the reason why he's not here is because he's already at work doing the budget.
I thought he was leaving.
Well, there's some rumors. I haven't heard officially one way or the other. Jack. Somebody had indicated that he's leaving, but I haven't.
701F.
Let's not spread.
701F is a temporary emergency appropriation to refund of callable lease revenues bonds.
They ain't spreading no rumor.
At the request of the administration, council of the whole, for action at this time.
Yes.
Yes.
This is on F.
Yes.
What deferring it?
Deferring it.
Defer, yes.
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 7R1G is a authorizing resolution for the Department of Administration for a bid contract to provide automotive battery storage. 1H is a bid contract, authorizing resolution for the Department of Administration for a bid contract to purchase a platform truck. 1I is a authorizing resolution for the Department of Administration for a bid contract to provide recreational equipment and supplies for the city. This is for aquatic uniforms and equipment and supplies. Councilman James wishes to move, second by Councilman Gonzalez. 1J is the authorizing resolution for the Department of Administration for the use of a state contract to purchase 8 Ford Police Interceptor Utility Explorers.
Is that the big Jeeps?
It's not the biggest one, but it's SUV.
The one that we had.
Oh.
Council through Count 701J with the Council of the Whole, with the exception of I, which has a sponsor. Roll call.
Yes.
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 All right.
Yes on everything, abstain on 1J.
I was gonna say, I'm abstaining on J.
Can someone explain to me what the JAG grant is as a funding source?
Good evening, Council Mike Green, Assistant Business Administrator. I will find out from police and let you know it is a grant though, so it's not municipal dollars, but I'll find out exactly where it's coming from and let you know by tomorrow.
Still abstain.
Seven R2A is a authorizing resolution for the Department of Economic and Housing Development for acceptance of grant funds for renovation of the Wars of America Monument and Military Park. Councilman James wishes to move, second by Councilman, in the absence of Councilman Ramos, do I have a second?
A second.
Councilman Gonzalez. 7R2B is a authorizing resolution for the Department of Economic and Housing Development for the investigation for an area in need of redevelopment. Councilwoman Cheneyfield Jenkins wishes to move. Do I have a second in the absence of Councilman Ramos? Second. Councilman Osborne. C is a authorizing resolution for the Department of Economic and Housing Development for an area for investigation for an area in need of redevelopment. Councilwoman Cheneyfield Jenkins wishes to move, second by Councilman Osborne. D is a ratifying authorizing resolution for the One Stop Career Center for professional services contract for business development, banking, and budgeting. This is for the Junior Entrepreneurs Club. Councilwoman Cheneyfield Jenkins wishes to move, second by Councilman James. E is a authorizing resolution for the Department of Economic and Housing Development, authorizing an investigation in an area in need of redevelopment.
Can we go up to D?
Up to D.
D.
Through D. With noted sponsors. Roll call.
Yes.
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 Yes, can somebody explain to me if the contract period is from July 1st, 2017 through June 30th, 2018, why are we expected to spend the money up to June 30th to 2019?
Which one is that?
The contract period is up to June 30th, 2018. However, if we don't spend the money up to June 30th, 2019, the money will be returned to the state.
You can encumber the monies up to June of this year, but you can pay up to next year.
If you have not encumbered all the 100%, the city must encumber at least 80% of this money by June of this year.
Yeah.
However, if you still have that 20% outstanding, you have until June of next year to encumber that to be 100%.
And to pay it, no?
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. President, on E, I received an email, but the email listed only block 320 and 321.
Now, there's a package.
I didn't see block 17, block 18.
There's some backup information on your.
Yes, I saw that, but it said block 20 and 21 and 27, I believe it is, not the others.
There was a representation that a lot of these were foreclosed properties, but the sequential numbers of the blocks, it's impossible to have that many foreclosed properties. And if you're trying to use eminent domain to get it, this is going to be an issue.
Yeah, I would defer this.
Let's defer it.
You need to defer it.
Yeah, we need to defer this because we don't have enough information.
Council of the whole to defer?
Yes.
And they didn't provide the streets.
E.
There's some information about the owners and the streets, but it's not complete.
It's not complete.
Right, they need to come before us at the special conference and explain what's going on.
So deferred by McCollum and seconded by.
I'll second.
Are we?
Yes.
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 Are we deferring to the next regular meeting or to a special?
No, to the next regular.
Next regular meeting.
Because you need time to meet with these individuals.
Okay.
Can you roll call?
That's a month. That's okay. Yeah, yes.
Yes.
Yes, defer.
7R3A is a bid contract for road striping. This is Department of Engineering. Council of the whole to adopt.
Yes.
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 7R5A is a ratifying authorizing resolution for the Department of Health and Community Wellness for an application and acceptance of grant funds to provide meals for children the summer sun-up program. Councilman James wishes to move, second by Councilman Osborne. Roll call.
Gonzalez.
Yes.
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 Now, I'm sorry, I asked the question yesterday. We always have issues with the provider of these lunches. And since the program is scheduled to start next week, has there been an RFQ that's been sent out for this, Mr. Green, that you know of, RFP? Mr. Wakefield.
Thank you. Jerome Wakefield, Supervisor Procurement for the City of Newark. Councilman Cheney Field, there was a bid put out pursuant to the state regulations for the Summer Food Program. The bids came in. I opened the bid. There was one respondent. However, the state objected to the fact that there was a change in the menu without their authorization. So we had to go back out to bid. We have a bid coming in. I believe it's on the 26th of this month. Councilwoman Cheney Field, and we will open the bids again on the 26th, I believe it is. And if that anything else you want to know?
So when did you advertise that it was being rebid?
I believe I'm going on recollection, Councilman Cheney Field, but I believe it was the 12th or the 14th of this month in the Star Ledger. I know because I personally put the ad out from the Division of Central Purchasing. That advertisement had to be approved by the state, and we put it back out. We re-advertised pursuant to their requirement, and it was published by the Star Ledger. And we are now waiting to open those bids again. The idea, I believe, from the state, there were two issues, Ms. Cheneyfield, and one of them was that they wanted more bidders, and two, that they wanted the person that did bid the last time to adhere strictly to the menu that was provided. They did not, and so although we held the bid and we were about to determine who a winner was, they determined subsequently that it had to be rebid. We redid the package, we re-advertised, and we're now scheduled to open.
Okay, so once they're open, can we please have notification as to who the bidders were, how many bids finally came back in?
Absolutely. Absolutely, we provide that information. The bid itself, unlike normal bids, Councilman Cheneyfield, it's also observed and regulated by the state, who are present, and they do their document compliance and bid compliance right there on site when we do open the bids. It's very strictly regulated by the state, in addition to the Division of Central Purchasing.
Yeah, but the problem is we always have an issue with the parents when they talk about and complain about the quality of the food.
Yep.
And I understand that.
Okay, so as long as you're saying the state, so when the bid gets opened up, just please make sure we're aware of how many bids came in, because I can't believe that only one bid would have came in for a $1.1 million contract in the first place for 10 weeks worth of food, and they don't even do full 10 weeks. But I'm sorry.
I agree, but historically, Councilwoman Cheneyfield, there's been two individuals, and last year they had one out of the two, and there was some oxidation problems, as I understand it, initially that was rectified, and that vendor didn't even bid this time. So we can't compel them to bid, but those that attend, we did have one individual this time who claimed he mailed a bid in, and his bid was not accepted, of course, because it wasn't in time, but it's been a month since that, and his package still hasn't arrived. So we know about the credibility of that, but we don't dictate who bid. We appear, we open the bids, we advertise, we open them, and the state monitors it strictly, and even after we do our review, they do this right there on the spot.
Mr. President?
Okay.
Just a question. We should plan this ahead of time. I mean, we have months that we should be thinking about this. We're dealing with children's food. I mean, we had problems in the past with a New York vendor because he was the lowest bidder, and our kids were fed. I mean, we sent the folks to New York to check it, and the food as it traveled to New Jersey. I mean, our children were getting really not the right food. And I think and I just think that our children deserve a good meal during this summer, especially if weather is at 80 and 90 degrees. But I think this poor planning, and I can't blame you for that, is poor planning, because we should be dealing with this early, not wait to the last minute to deal with this. Our children are very important. I mean, these children are out there, hot, the right meals. We don't know who the vendor is yet. We don't know if the vendor, where they're coming. Are they coming from Trenton? Are they coming from Violent? Where they're coming from? And our children deserve the best. And we got to put our children first. And we just can't come here at the last minute and say we're going to send a bid out and see who's going to be the lowest bidder. We should do this process in early January. While it's snowing, we should be out there sending someone to visit these vendors. Who are they? What kind of place it's set? Is it sanitary? Is it correct? Is it nutrition? Is it correct? And we need to make sure of these things, because our children, well, some folks that work in a building don't have children that live in Newark. And some children in this room don't have their children to go to, but our children who live in this city And some folk around here don't have children that go to these summer programs because they live up in the suburbs or somewhere else and they can afford to do that. But our children deserve better than this.
Right.
Can you, if I may, can I get the name of the company that won this bid? The only one that actually bid?
When you say one, they...
Not one, because there was only one company that...
Right, and they didn't win it because they were disqualified based by the state. But that company, I don't know if it's public information to be disclosed at this time, because I don't want to give a prejudice because the bid is coming back out. I don't mind sending you that, Amador. Certainly can have that information, but being that the bid is coming in a couple of days, I don't want to unduly prejudice anyone to give a competitive advantage in the procurement process. What I can say I'm going to answer both, Mr. Quintana. I certainly agree with you in terms of the needs of our children. I have children here in Newark. I have a son that's born here in Newark, and so I understand the importance of that, and I don't devalue that. What you have to understand that's different with the Sun Up Food Program is that the bidders who can bid on this program are only bidders who are predetermined or pre-qualified by their state. So the list itself is restricted, and that has nothing to do with the normal procurement process. It's an open competition. There's still competition in this bid, but it's regulated by the state. One of the concerns and objections that we even had from our division in central purchasing is the lateness of the production of the materials. However, this particular procurement matter is so strictly state regulated that everything we put out has to go to the state, get stamped and approved, come back, then go back out all the way down to the advertisement. And there was a little thing, I think a one word or something, distraction from it, and they were upset about that. But they stamped everything, and even the last issue was that they stamped and approved the state, and when we sent the advertisement to the Star Ledger, they don't publish your stamp. So it couldn't happen, but anyway, we resolved that. But I'm saying it's so regulated that the pool of applicants are already predetermined by the state. Anyone who's not approved cannot bid on that. And then the lateness of their documents is attributed to their review process and the lateness of the beginning of the process. Otherwise, we would be happy, particularly since we know the importance of dealing with our children and serving them and the importance of their health and eating the food that they consume.
The contract period is from February the 5th, 2018 through September 28, 2018.
The contract period.
Right.
The contract
is the
period.
food being served now to the children?
The camp, from my recollection, starts on July the 2nd. I don't have it in front of me right now, Councilman Alvador, but it starts July the 2nd. What generally happens, and this will be expedited as soon as it comes in. We knowing that it's a rebid, we know that the onset of the start date is here, so things are going to move pretty rapidly. But again, I agree with Mr. Quintana that this should be done earlier. But the problem that we had, this would have been a done deal already, and it was something as minor like the bidder changed the menu from strawberry to plums, and the state said that's unacceptable and rejected this whole bid.
But how is it that the Board of Education is able to get the same? Because they use the Sun Up program as well, and their bids came in already. What are you saying, Council, Mr. Council?
They only utilize themselves. Director Council, Director of Recreation, Cultural Affairs, and Senior Services. The board uses us as sites for Sun Up, so they use our food programs in the summer. During the regular school year, they assess and use their own programs for after-school programming and feeding as well. As Director Wakefield indicated, is a very stringent process about the state. The state controls the matters, and we delineate. We are very, very proactive about what we do. Last year, we served 10,000 more kids than we served in 2016. So the kids are eating. The breakfast and lunches, can everything be better? It can. But for us to lobby and jockey over this, I just don't think it is that kind of fight right now unnecessarily. I think our goal is to ensure that we put our kids in the best situation to get breakfasts and lunches served during the process of the summer. So we have 113 vendors and sites that we use as feeding sites over the summer. Right now we have about 95 sites that have signed up. In 2017, we had 111 sites and we served 236,000 meals. 2016, we served 225 meals. So again, I would preface the fact that our kids are eating breakfast and lunch, and which are two different programs. There's the CCF program that is dedicated for the after-school providers during the years and months of September on, and the Newark Public Schools is very proactive in making sure that their after-school providers, that they are eating and provided with that. But when the summertime comes, the city of Newark takes on the onus and provides the breakfast and lunch components for the entire city.
Excuse me, when you say lobbying and jockeying, I'm asking questions because of the simple fact I know for a fact that the Board of Education already has their vendor in place.
We train the Board of Education.
But they already have their contract. They already have their vendor contract who's providing their food. So that's why I'm asking for a $1.1 million contract. Why is it that there was only one vendor who came in and bid for this? And how is it that the Board of Education has their vendor already selected?
Well, two issues. One, the Board of Education didn't have to rebid like we did. Okay, that delayed.
But Mr. Council just said that you all provide the food for the Board of Education.
We do, but that has nothing to do with the question and the issue that we're dealing with now. We're trying to provide food now, starting July the 2nd. The issue that delayed that was that the state rejected the bids, which we, took out and bid, which we advertised for. Secondly, I can't account for anything that the Board of Education do. What I'm telling you, what we did was publicly advertise, bring bidders in. We also can't make them show up. And as I tried to explain to the council as a whole earlier, this is a predetermined list by the state. So it's not open to everybody. It's just not. It has to be that. And so that is a limitation in and of itself. And then when we open the bids up, which we did in my office, we can't tell who's coming through the door. We accept whoever. Up until the time of the closure, we accept whoever comes in that door. Unfortunately, that was the only guy that showed. Well, except for the guy that I told you said he claimed he left a package, but he didn't. And it still hasn't arrived. So I can't answer that question as to why the vendors that potentially could bid didn't show up, didn't bid. Certainly, they got adequate advertisement. It was publicized, and we waited for them to come. So I can't answer that question that you're posing to us.
The question was just, how is the Board of Education already...
And the short answer to that,
already have their vendors. If the council, if the director just said that the city provides the food.
What he tried to explain, and I thought was clear, was that the city takes on the onus of providing the foods to our children in the summertime. While the state has its programs and its after school during the normal school year, when it comes to the summer period like right now, the city takes on that complete obligation. But that obligation, however, is restricted by the rules and regulations of the state. And until the state gives its final review, approval, and a permit, we can't move all the way down to the writing in the advertisement. What's on the menu? Because the discretion that could have been exercised in this particular instance about whether it was a strawberry or a plum, and is what decided this. And to me, that was ludicrous. But the vendor said, I can't give you a strawberry, but I can definitely give you a plum. They said, no, that's a deviation from the menu. And that caused the whole thing. So I can't account for that. All I can do is, after being obligated to rebid, I did. After being obligated to re-advertise, I did. After being obligated to open on a certain date, I will. And as soon as they come in, we will expedite it and get this program moving. That's the best I can tell you.
Before Councilman Gonzalez, I thank you for the history that was given to us before, but this is not a fight. This is more out of a sense of frustration on the part of each one of us than anything else. It's not a fight. We're not here to fight. I've been here for 20 years, and it's basically the same thing happens every year. And it's out of a sense of frustration that we're asking questions, not because of a fight. We don't want to entertain a fight.
No, I'm not even asking out of frustration or a fight. I'm asking out of a conversation that I had with the people from the Board of Education, and they told me that they already had their vendor for the after-school program and for the charter section, as well as for the Board of Education. And they did not say it was the city of Newark who was providing their food. They told me the two vendors that they had.
We spent 15 minutes.
Councilman Gonzalez.
Yeah, we have spent 15 minutes.
Okay, and you get paid for a whole day's worth of work.
This is to accept the money. We are not contracting with anyone to purchase the food. This here is to accept the funds from the state. So I don't know why we're going on purchasing and bids and all that stuff. We should vote to accept the money, and then we worry about spending the money.
That's correct.
Yeah, okay. And clerk?
Yes, sir.
I know some people that got a loud restaurant.
Roll call.
The kids too. We never in the goddamn equation.
This is to accept the funds.
I'm saying we never in the equation.
Seminar.
We move on.
The funds.
Seminar 6A is a authorizing resolution for the Department of Law for settlement of civil litigation. Seminar 6B is a authorizing resolution for the Department of Law for settlement of workers' compensation claim. Seminar 6C is a authorizing resolution for the Department of Law for settlement of a workers' compensation claim. Through Seminar 6C, Council of the Whole to adopt.
Gonzalez?
Yes.
Yes.
Where are we up to?
Seminar 6C.
C. A, B, and C.
C. Yes.
You probably got this money right away. We had it for 17 years.
Yes.
Yes.
This is what we do, man.
Yes.
If you knew the
Yes.
if you knew the facts, you would settle for $652.
Seminar 8A is a
Councilman Gonzalez, please.
20 years to get that.
You're restricting me to.
Right, sitting on the fence. And guess who got the money? The damn lawyers. Swartz and Edelman.
Seminar 8A is a authorizing resolution for the Office of Municipal Council City Clerk for reappointment of the Deputy City Clerk. Councilman James wishes to move, second by Councilwoman Gail Cheneyfield Jenkins. Roll call.
Folks, we understand shit too.
Gonzalez?
Third
Abstaining
generation.
on that.
Help you out.
Yes.
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 Abstain.
Yes.
Seminar 8B.
So let me ask you a question. Did that fail or did it pass?
Adopted.
It was?
Yes.
And just for the record, I just want to say that the clerk position is a tenured position. The deputy city clerk always has to be re-voted on. So she will be serving for to June 30th, 2022. But after that, I mean, no deputy city clerk gets tenured.
Seminar 8B is a authorizing resolution for the Office of Municipal Council City Clerk for support for a special event. This is co-sponsoring the annual Dominican Music Festival.
We want to.
Yeah, change it to
We
2
are,
o'clock.
we're going to amend on the floor to change the hours of operation and the insert language that this is, we are supporting the waiver of the permits and fees, but not the insurance. the vendor will still be, the organization will still be responsible for the insurance.
Yeah.
Council of the whole to amend. Time that you were changing the time from 12 to 2 to 10.
2 to 10.
2 to 10. Council of the whole to amend.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
And now Council of the whole to adopt as amended.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
7R8C is a authorizing resolution for the Office of Municipal Council City Clerk for hold harmless indemnification agreement for the City of Newark inauguration, 2018 inauguration event. 7R8D is a authorizing resolution for the Office of Municipal Council City Clerk for the acceptance of a gift. This is the acceptance of the waiver of the rental fees for the use of the New Jersey Performing Arts Center for the inauguration procedure. 7E are various expressions of profound sorrow and regret. 8F are various recognizing and commending resolutions. Through 7R8F, Council of the Whole to adopt.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
7R11A is a authorizing resolution for a home harms and indemnification agreement for the Shani Baraka basketball camp. Councilman James wishes to move, second by Councilman Osborne. 11B is a authorizing resolution for the Department of Recreation and Cultural Affairs Senior Services for a hold harmless and indemnification agreement for the facility to use for the Pop Warner cheerleader competition. Councilman James wishes to move, second by Councilman Quintana. Roll call through 7R11B.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
The added starter pages. 7R1K is a ratifying authorizing resolution for the Department of Administration for Professional Services contract for accounting auditing services contract. 1L is a authorizing resolution for the Department of Administration to use the state contract for a dump truck. This is to purchase 2 dump trucks with snow plow and material spreaders. 1M is a authorizing resolution for a temporary emergency appropriation for the Falls Prevention 2017 grant, provide funds to train master trainers and coaches to educate caregivers of senior citizens and adults.
Mr. President, if I may, the 1K, what audit services are we contracting with here?
Yeah.
The health director just left.
Accounting audit services for who?
Mike Green, Assistant Business Administrator. That RMS contract, sir, is dealing with the auditing of the Port Authority. It's working in conjunction with the BA to find out accountability within there to see a potential litigation with the port.
So this is to audit the books of the
Port.
Port Authority on behalf of the city.
On behalf of the city, that's correct.
7R1M is the emergency, we've done M. 7R1N is the authorizing resolution, authorizing and amending resolution for the Department of Administration, the use of the state contract for walk-in building supplies. This would be the Home Depot here in Newark. 7R10 is a authorizing resolution for the Department of Administration for bid contract to purchase 4 Ford 250 crew cab Fords trucks. 1P is authorizing and amending amending resolution for the Department of Administration for the First Amendment to Resolution 701B for the special meeting added starter for January 30, 2018 to increase the contract amount by $44,827.50 through let's do 1Q as well. Seminar 1Q is a authorizing resolution for the Department of Administration for bid contract for recreational art and crafting materials and supplies through our 1Q, Council of the Whole to adopt.
Yes.
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 7R2F is a ratifying, authorizing, and amending resolution declaring an area in need of redevelopment. This is in the East Ward.
Move it.
Second.
2G is a authorizing resolution for the Department of Economic and Housing Development for a need of housing project. This is provision of a New Jersey Housing Mortgage Finance Agency law to enable the agency to process the sponsor's application for funding for a project known as the Jollof Senior Estate Apartments.
Sponsor.
Do I have a second? Councilman Osborne. Roll call through 7R2G. G. Yes, 2G.
Yes.
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 President Amador. I'd like to thank my colleagues for voting for this to move forward to provide more senior housing in the South Ward. Thank you.
7R4A. 7R4A is a authorizing resolution for the Department of Finance for preliminary official statement and disclosure agreement for issuance of notes. Council of the Whole to adopt.
Yes.
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 7R6D is a authorizing resolution for the Department of Law for settlement of a workers' compensation claim. 6E is a authorizing resolution for the Department of Law for settlement of a labor matter. Through 7R6E, Council of the Whole to adopt.
Yes.
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 7R8G is an authorizing resolution for various recognizing and commending resolutions. 8H is a authorizing amending resolution for the Office of Municipal Council City Clerk through amending the ceremonial street designation resolution. 7R8I of added starter adopted on May 23rd, 2018. 7R8L is a J. 7R8J is a authorizing resolution for the Office of Municipal Council City Clerk urging the support of a labor harmony agreement. 7R8. Oh, that was I. This is J. This is a J is the expression of various expression of profound sorrow and regret. 7R8K is a authorizing resolution for the Office of Municipal Council City Clerk to support a special event. This is the July 4th Community Day Block Party.
Second.
Osborne James. Roll call. 8K.
Mr. President, 8I has Councilman Ramos as the sponsor. Is that the problem or?
Well, can I have a second to replace Councilman Ramos? Osborne? Gonzalez? Okay. the Osborne Gonzalez.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Back to the regular agenda. 8A is a authorizing resolution for the office of mayor for the appointment of to the Alcohol Beverage Control Board at the request of the administration, council of the whole to return to administration. Roll call.
Yes.
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 8B is the authorizing resolution for the office of mayor for the reappointment of a Class 2 member of the Central Planning Board. Councilman James wishes to sponsor, move it. Is there a second?
Second.
8C is a authorizing resolution for the office of mayor for the reappointment of a Class 4 member of the Central Planning Board. Councilman James wishes to move. Do I have a second?
Second.
8D is a authorizing resolution for the office of mayor for reappointment of a Class 4 member for the Central Planning Board. Councilman James wishes to move. Do I have a second?
Second.
8E is a authorizing resolution for the office of mayor for the reappointment of a Class 4 member of the Central Planning Board. This will be council of the whole.
I'll move that.
Second.
Were we supposed to get an attendance record?
We emailed it to the council because the printed version of the document, the type is so small that it's difficult to read. But if you look in your email, you will note that for the Central Planning Board, the attendance record has been extremely good. In fact, some of the members are at 100%, and the members have been more present than absent.
We have to send them stars, so that little stars, so to the 100% attendance.
Wow, wow. Wow.
You're forging the records.
Roll call through 8E.
I have attended more planning board meetings than city council meetings.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Okay, back to the added starter pages. 8F is a authorizing resolution for the office of mayor for an appointment to this as a Class 4 member for the Central Planning Board. We interviewed this individual at the yesterday, council of the whole, to adopt.
I want to move him.
You want to move? Wait, do I have a second?
No, I sponsored that. He was a South Ward.
I want to feel good about it.
I'll second.
I want to feel good about it.
James Gonzalez. Roll call.
Yes.
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 8G is an ordinance appointing a qualified purchasing agent. Council of the whole to advance to first reading.
First is a search for qualified person.
But that's not. Yes.
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 8H is an ordinance to amend Title II, Chapter 5, Department of Administration, Article 4, Division of Central Purchasing, subsection 2:5-13.2, Powers and Duties of the Central Purchasing, of the City Purchasing Agent. This is to raise the threshold for bidding requirements for public contracts from $21,000 to $40,000, informal quotation threshold from $3,150 to $6,000.
President, that's because we did the previous one. Now we have a qualified purchasing agent, so now with the thresholds are higher.
Yes.
I sponsor that.
Second.
Roll call.
That since we have a qualified purchasing agent, the thresholds increase. before we didn't have a qualified purchasing agent. Even though he was qualified, he wasn't appointed as one. So the thresholds were lower. Yes.
Roll call?
Yes.
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 Mr. President, I have no pre-printed motions of the council.
Just a confirmation before we move on to motions. The street resurfacing program did not come up.
It did not, we did not get all of the documents.
Right.
Mr. Colon left, but for the project, Colon, Spring Street, is that
That is,
done in the special?
maybe.
Do we have a special?
26.
Okay.
We have discussed the special, but we don't have an official call letter at this point.
We don't have a
Yeah.
call letter, so who is, Mr. President, we need a call letter for the special.
The mayor needs to give us the call letter.
The mayor.
Okay. Mayor.
Mr. Mayor, we need a call letter.
We anticipate getting. Motions?
No motions.
Councilman Osborne.
The People's Organization for Progress, Reparations for African Americans March and Rally is on Saturday, June 23rd at 12 noon, starting at Springfield Avenue at the Lincoln Monument. That's it.
Second.
Yes.
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 Yes. Councilman McCullough. Councilman James.
Good evening. I'd like to thank Eric Nixon from the Malcolm X Shabazz 8th Annual Father and Son Basketball Game. I'd like to thank the graduates and staff at Weequahic Shabazz and Hawthorne Avenue School. I was able to be the keynote speaker for Shabazz. Also, we have a new learning center coming on Hawthorne Avenue and Demarest Street for 0 to 4 age group, and it's going to be state of the art. We had a tour, and we look forward to that coming to fruition. Going forward, we have Occupy the Block, June 21st from 5 to 6 p.m. on Clinton Avenue in Chadwick. We have the Mercy House grand opening on June 22nd at 10 a.m. at Blessed Sacrament Church, 19 Van Ness Place. We also have the Mayor's Father's Day picnic this Saturday from 10 to 4 p.m. at the Watershed, 223 Echo Lake Road. And we have the Pomona Avenue Block Party this Saturday, June 23rd to 12 p.m. I'd also ask us to be wary of PSE&G. We support their renovations of their new gas lines, but we need to make sure that when they finish the project, they do repave the streets. This may satisfy some of our pothole problems and our paving problems. We've been working with them all along, and we just hope they finish this project as soon as possible so that we get our roadway done.
Second.
Yes.
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 Yes. No motions.
No motions here.
No motions?
Also the whole to adjourn?
Heroes out. Yes, to adjourn.
Yes.
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 We'll see you on the 26th.